Diddy just pulled an ace from his sleeve. Allegedly, high-profile defense attorney Mark Garagos will be taking over as the lead attorney representing Diddy in his trial. Mark Garagos, who famously represented Scott Peterson, Hunter Biden, the Menendez brothers, Michael Jackson, and Chris Brown. While currently serving as an advisor on Combs' case, insiders reveal that preparations are underway to file documentation that would formally enable Garagos to represent the embattled music mogul in court. In my opinion, this is the best move Diddy has made since this started because Mark Garagos is a far more effective speaker than Mark Agnifilo. As one of the most renowned lawyers in the world, he possesses an exceptional ability to articulate complex ideas slowly, calmly, and clearly, making them easy to understand.
In the game, they did ban Bloodseeker, like the rupture against Pango is really annoying. Smokescreen against Pango might be one of the best spells against the hero, period, because he does not want to buy Force Staff or anything of the sort. And eventually he can get Shard, right? And that prevents the allies from clicking on the heroes inside Smokescreen, which means you're the one that has to buy the Force Staff.
And that's the other thing about Pango. What he oftentimes buys against heroes that annoy him is roll up, but that doesn't work either.
Yeah.
So your usual plan B is not in play.
Yeah, it's a very, very cool pick. We'll see how it works out. What type of build do you want to see on Kiyotaka? I mean, like,
does Ricky have builds?
No, I mean,
isn't it always Diffusal?
Well, Diffusal, Ags we see a lot as like, because when they're playing it a little, I mean, depends on what
23
type of build you want to go for this mid here. Is 23 status
first? Oh, Mira with the salve also stays alive. Let's play there.
Wow.
Great start for Aurora. Yeah, I mean, all jokes aside, I obviously know you meant more than just one item, because Diffusal will almost always be the first. After that, this game, kind of like a potential, is Manta still a thing? Because you can break out of Global Silence, which is like the one thing that can kill you almost. Could also just, like you said, see the Axe Basher build. Let's see what Kiyotaka fancies. Do we ever see Ricky's by Blink Dagger? Ever? I know it sounds crazy because you have 2 charges and Blink Strike.
How does Swift Blink work these days? Does it benefit him?
It should, right?
The change they made a while back. Joe Camp taking a decent amount of damage. Mira dies in the top lane, so 23 Savage getting a little bit of revenge. He's damaged quite a bit right now, though.
Swift Blink giving 35 agility for 6 seconds is pretty nice.
Yeah, that's right. So that I couldn't remember if it was before. It was a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
So that actually works out quite well. I mean, that's pretty late game.
Hey, yeah. You would never buy it as like a primary thing. It's just again, we're looking at a game where the enemy team has so little catch that if you have that, you just have an additional tool to just play around with them.
I think the question really is if you will go Ags, because that will allow you to farm.
Oh, he's in on Mikoto.
Tricks of the trade. The smoke screen, no follow-up though. The hero can't really farm, so it's about Diffusal. How many kills can you find with it? How much pressure do you want to apply that early on? Or are you going to play more the farm build? So, time will tell. And when people used to play position 1 Ricky, Battle Fury was the thing, but Ags was buffed to the point that it's just more efficient to buy that.
Yep.
But being mid gives him a little bit more leeway to kind of figure out what build he wants to go for. Yeah, it's just such a... I mean, I think Manta is required this game against Global.
I'm not sure, because you could also take... The upside to going BKB instead of it is that you can pretend Pango isn't real. Which is, of course, Quinn's greatest fear. Nightmare.
Taking a decent amount of damage here. Pantho will block the path.
Lanes are going quite well for both sides, really. Nobody is truly suffering. This damage on Panto. Joke had a really nice play there.
Blood grenade finish off, man.
Yeah. Retain the beast proc foul play.
Rolling Thunder coming in. Cuckoo's in a lot of trouble, but if they can turn this around onto the Ricky, the perma-stun not quite there, but he gets the swashbuckle at the last moment. Of course, we should mention the Rolling Thunder. This is the Thunderbolt facet, so the little corners there will not be that troublesome for Makoto to get through. We've been seeing the double jump more often, though, than this one.
Yeah, I think the mid... Do you ever go Thunderbolt on offlane Pango? I feel like the offlaners will always take double jump because it's just too important for the laning stage. But in mid, it's more of a... I'm not going to say it's 50-50 because it isn't, but it's more viable to go Thunderbolt at least. You don't necessarily need that.
Nice connection
added
from
benefit.
Tokyo. They get the shackle under the tier 1 tower as well. 23 Savage forced to go the other side. Takes a lot of tower shots. Or to use the purification up in 8 seconds as Panto. If he gets some vision here.
That was actually a really nice play from Panto to start cutting left, assuming that he could get the vision from Toronto Tokyo, but not quite. Had Toronto Tokyo had boots, that would have been a kill. He lost track. Wisdom Shrines will be exchanged. Not really too surprising, as we've already established the playmaking potential of Talon is kind of non-existent for the time being, so you're not really going to invade much.
So really from the Talon side, you are very reliant on Rolling Thunder, you're reliant on Doom Blink, and I assume that Omni might go Blink as well, although...
Eventually, probably.
With this type of build, is this like a... So it's Radiance into what? Like, do you go... I guess it would be too late to go Echo Saber after that, right? Because I was thinking the upgraded Echo, I not remember the name.
Harpoon?
That's right, Harpoon.
I think he needs BKB this game as well. There's just too much stuff. Repel is nice and all, but you can't rely on it against Ricky and against Shadow Shaman with Blink Hex. When you enter a fight, you kind of need to go in with confidence and have... The other thing is also Repel doesn't last very long. It's 5 seconds. Once that runs out, if you don't have BKB, you can't really stand anymore. And the fights for Flipstar Talon side, they're not going to win fights quickly, right? They don't have much burst. This is going to be like, over time, you're going to step-by-step take them down. So, BKB would be interesting, or I would argue it's mandatory, but let's see. That doesn't mean he has to get it immediately after Radiance, of course, but he needs it in his build.
He's actually going to get dusted. WS looking for a connection on his Doom, but the smoke screen comes out thanks to Panto with the shackle, but Makoto has the Rolling Thunder, and now Nightfall in a precarious spot all alone. He saves his Ricky, but it cost him his life, and I'm sure he's not happy about that one.
Outnumbered.
And that is a Arcane Rune on the Pango, so ult will be up rather relatively soon.
It's the type of fights that Talon can find. The Pango being involved. And also, it's a little bit of a mix, right? Because the Pango can take these fights very well, but it did seem like it was largely on Aurora's initiative that this even came to be, right? What if they just farm? Are plays even going to happen at all in the game? Jokum. Avalanche toss. Oh, he doesn't have toss skilled. All right, well, then it's no toss.
Yep.
He's just not going to die then. I don't know, I can't help but... Oh, hang on. Shackle.
Got the shackle onto the Doom as Mira coming to play, although Panto getting really low to Jokum. Bedlam is going to finish off the Ringmaster. It'll be a trade of support so far as WS will have to exit. Cuckoo relatively low on HP as well. Of course, we failed to mention the Empower with Ricky is also extremely good with the tricks of the trade.
Fortunately, the panel did mention that.
I don't listen.
Of course, listen to everything they say so we don't repeat ourselves or them. Credit where credit's due. Sometimes they say smart things. And we also have Jenkins on the show.
That's right. Mira, you'll be the recipient of the first Doom of the game. Nightfall, Avalanche, and the Swash to finish the job.
Okay, remember, I think it was yesterday or the day before, I was talking about how the standard way of putting Lina mid is that you go 4-0-3, right? And I'm like, surely 1 point in LSA has to be good a lot of the time.
Looking at toss.
I feel the same way about Tiny's. Like this 2-0-3 build, how much does this third point and tree throw do versus the overall, let's call it the opportunity cost or the potential?
Oh, why are you looking at tree throw and not
1 point in toss?
Yeah,
Just being 2-1-2. Isn't that
Ja.
1 point super useful?
Yeah, I would think so.
Like contextually, if you're getting run at, you can toss people away, you can find kills.
The blink strike to the other side.
Böyle bir var mı?
Da.
23 Savage dies on the top lane, but we
Ta
can see
sen
the
så
global
Dota.
trade. Position 1 for 2, and a support will die as well in Panto.
Going really well for Talon so far. For a lineup that doesn't have all the playmaking in the world, they sure are making the plays that they can. Heavily playing around the way as they should be. He's the star of the show in their lineup. And the way they killed Omni top, they used everything. They used RP, Terrorize, and Bedlam to get that kill onto him. Seeing the replay here. Great execution.
Nereden
Talked about this
tutmuş?
yesterday when we were watching another Dark Willow
Uma
game,
torrent
how Dark Willow really benefits from playing with heroes that have repositioning tools,
Peki.
so you can get people into brambles. He's playing with 2 of them in this game, Skewer and Toss.
Yeah.
Once that Toss, of course, does get skilled when Nightfall's level 24. Jokum will get out of here.
One trick brings him down to half HP. My goodness, it's hard. Damage rune on Makoto. Swash doing quite a bit.
Meduza çocuk stoi split shot.
Another easy
Ma
pick up
pravo
on
da ne
this
zna.
time it is Mira being the recipient of that. So defusal for Makoto before Kiyotaka gets his, and he's going to take a full wheel of wonder into a swash and into the grave. So Talon keeping up the pressure. 3K
Your
net
turn
worth
to
lead.
pick.
I really love watching this team play when they're firing on all cylinders. It's like, I had my concerns about their lineup and its inability to do specific things, but they're
Толкова малко трудно да ги пикнеш всичките работи.
more specific the ways they need to do it, and everything so far has been super crisp. The heroes they bring to the place, the way they cast their spells, the way they play around each other, it's been really excellent.
Дърво Тайтбрингър.
Bit of an asterisk on that with the Doom, but it's
Тайтбрингър,
only
вземи дървото,
power,
ще
so
остане.
can't really.
С мега демидж.
Nightfall spotted under the tier 1 tower. They don't even need to use Doom.
Like, all of their moves are just working.
Yeah.
And Aurora
Jak не можах да намеря Тайтбрингъра, че.
they're going to get their Magnus Blink soon on Toronto, Tokyo. Perhaps that can change the game up a little bit, but so far, I have to say,
Oh, wow.
Kiyotaka,
Okay, so I was going to say, so Kiyotaka is not going to Fusel right away. It is first item Ags. So he will be going the farming route. I mean, that does a lot of damage, obviously, but that is maybe not what we were expecting. I mean, I love Ags on this hero, though, so can't blame him.
I'm not sure it's the correct adjustment for this game, though, is it? Like, if you're being ran at right now by Talon, I don't know if going the farming route on Ricky is supposed to
draw.
solve the problem.
Мета.
Just for farming, though. He does a lot against heroes. And he has the facet, of course, that will
Man.
buff up his tricks.
Your turn to pick.
And so finally,
I mean, that actually, I would agree with this. If you're down right now and you go defusal, it's going to be hard to find pickoff still because you're down.
well,
Ags, you can help get back in the game.
it's just I'm not so sure that's the case, though. You just got your Mag Blink, and you see they're smoking, right? So they are looking for a move. So if Aurora do want to do this, then Ricky could have a defusal for this fight because he bought the point booster and has gold left over, right? So he could have, or at least been very, very close to it by now.
Yeah, that's true.
So they're kind of playing 2 slightly different games in that sense, but
Right, they go through the gate.
yeah, they want to get WS here if they're going to see him. Toronto, Tokyo will see the camp being farmed, and there we go.
First RP of the game, Bedlam, in addition to the rest of the abilities at Aurora's disposal. So an easy pickoff. Echo Saber now online for Nightfall.
Your turn to pick.
But did you say Nightfall was going Blink?
No.
Okay. Oh, you said Toronto, Tokyo.
Yeah. Curious to see how fast Ricky farms when he has Ags and Power against like an Ancient stack
It's
or whatever.
insane. This is one of the best farming abilities in the game. such a huge power
Right,
swing.
this in power, and that's a level 4 tricks without X.
I think the trick is you got to attack the creep and then tricks, and they don't move.
Oh.
If you tricks first, they run away.
I don't know that.
Little nugget for you.
Talking might be here. Oh, this is not great.
Maybe up. Attempting to TP out, but the Rolling Thunder finds him. Last word in addition, and he is going to drop as a result. Big kill for Talon again.
As far as I'm concerned, Mikoto has played a borderline perfect game. It's actually really cool to watch. A little detail like that, very quick to get out of the smoke screen and get the Rolling Thunder off as fast as possible and find that kill too. All of the moves have been successful. He's been in 9 out of 12 kills. All of the 3 cores. Because of this, on Talon looking very hot.
Random, да но да излезе. Ще го избав майката. Тъпата игра.
And they're going to try to be as suppressive as possible. Recognizing that, well, if Ricky is going Axe, he's not
Керри игра, че?
so you're effectively
Ко?
able to put a lot of pressure. 20
Керри игра.
Your turn
That
to
hits pretty
pick.
hard.
Да, излиза.
Got that radiant.
It's going Blink Manta
Bang it up.
next, so Harpoon was not on the cards, and then he has BKB queued up as well, so probably just a little bit of a brainstorm quick buy here, not I'm going to buy these exact 3 items in that order kind of deal.
Yeah. Makoto is going to be going for Ags next. I guess one way he can try to counter, I mean, I guess he still has to go BKB at some point, but the disperser can give him move speed to get out of the smoke screen.
Yep.
These are very specific interactions. That means another teammate's not nearby for Aurora, so we'll see. Well, being protected by Panto, his body on the line. He will die.
Yeah.
Gets knifed, shanked from behind.
Your turn to pick.
Makoto with yet another kill to his name.
Another brain drain.
Yeah, 9 brain drains so far. Not too shabby. Talon definitely in control of this game right now.
It's one of those things where we love talking about this because it's fun to keep track of stacks, but really the reason brain drain matters more so than you would think is not because of Silencer's damage output, it's because of his ability to buy Refresher. It's closely tied. How many items you need leading into Refresher depends on how good your brain drain game is.
That sounds really sick.
Of course, this hero has changed now that he doesn't have Reverberate, but I think you still buy Refresher, right? Like, what else would you get?
Yeah.
Still has to be the item for him.
So 18-minute ag for Kiyotaka. Not the best timing. And right now he's bottom net worth up to 4. Let's see how much that changes in the next few minutes. Swashbuckle, Makoto. Yeah, another brain drain.
One-shot a creep wave with Ags and power. Did I see that right?
I'm telling you, this thing.
Oh,
the Wheel of
so
Wonder was
screwed.
waiting for him, though. And the dust will ensure another death for Kiyotaka.
Such a good setup. They anticipated he would go for a secondary wave after he went for the previous one with Tricks, and really good execution there from Joachim with the during Tricks with the trade, just throws out the wheel, charges up the whip, and as soon as it ends, combine. Is this something? Talon's lineup isn't the fastest at taking objectives, but they're decent against Roche because they have Lucky Shot, Omni Knight's pure damage. Works quite well.
This will be a freebie for Talon. They continue to dominate this game number 1. We cast them yesterday, and 23 Savage, after that first game performance going 0-9 on Terribly, took a shower.
Prepare for
First
battle.
game of the day, you know, got to get those eye crispies out, Synderen, as we talked about. This time around, looks like he took a shower beforehand. Has a global silence to try to save the Rasta.
Nope, he's in the enemy team.
That's right. Kills the Rasta. Now terrorize onto 2 heroes. Makoto, though, does get off his ult. There's a nice Yule's dodging a bit, but the defusal is going to keep him in place, and that is going to be another easy pickoff for Talon. But 24 Savage.
Yeah, didn't
died.
come for free.
Huh.
They got him RP skewered into an avatar. After he got that kill on Shadow Shaman bottom, he was completely alone, and Aurora try to take advantage of that.
That was after the global silence, I assume.
Yeah.
Искал
Global was
отвратно,
using
но...
that Omni got shackled
Човек не знал
while he
някакъв
was next
си.
to Serpent Ward, and I think they, on Talon side, assumed that was a kill attempt, but it was actually just the Shadow Shaman, so Omni would have been fine alone. Nice grab here for Aurora.
Shard will go to Mira, so Curse Crown.
He just skilled Bedlam duration though, so he needs level 11 before this does anything.
The battle begins.
One Trix will take out a full wave, even without his power. Faster.
Yeah, the reason I think it looked like with Empower that he almost literally one-shot the wave with like one swipe, if you will.
They missed the dust.
Will they try another one? Oh, they got him.
Wow, he's outside the sentry now.
Another dust.
Oh, Trix to the other side. Gets whipped. Another knife. Wheel of Wonder. Oh, he actually does not hit it. Wow, that was close.
Threw it behind him.
Kiyotaka looking in the correct direction.
That's some serious
He
pace.
TP to base, so he looks in that direction.
Yep. Correct.
It was actually not a choice.
It was very obvious. I'm not sure if that was possible for Joker to hit that wheel in time, but... Alright. Despite of this amazing early game from Aurora, only 2k up. Very recoverable for the side of Aurora Talon.
Oh, Makoto. Big old Serpent Ward with the Bedlam. The two supports are going to get the Aegis.
And now they need to get the hell out of there.
Yeah, they will both TP.
Just TP lol, there's no stun. Oh, would have been a whip if he was in range. And an infernal wall. No. Careful what you wish for. Yeah. This is worth a lot though.
How much is it? Like 200?
More than that. 250. I was closer.
Yeah, by 5. You win.
They always get the same amount though. Serpent Wars, I think they have a range. So.
You know the answer to that question.
WS.
Every night.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I do.
Oh, the dust. Does clip him just barely. Kiyotaka just brings him straight to the other side. Gets the smoke screen off, but we can see he is all at what? TP? No. Did it man.
Ambitious.
I mean, that's another thing with the Ags that Kiyotaka's ability to get away is cat range. I mean, this Ag is so much. Unfortunate for Kiyotaka, he is 0 and 6. As much as you want to try to hype up the...
This act is pretty powerful. 061 mid laner. Having great impact with it so far.
It happens.
Kodo on the chase here. Is he gonna slush now?
Good news for Aurora is the death timer still pretty low.
Yeah. No, that's right.
That's a silver lining.
The other
I do feel at some point you do buy shard on this, or if you don't get it, wait.
yeah.
We'll be going to Diffusal next. Then the pickoff potential is there. But I mean, imagine if he hadn't died the last 2 times since he bought the Ag. You know, it would have made up a lot of difference. But in hindsight, now you're like, ah, you might as well. He's not looking for kills. He's looking to kill.
I mean, again, it really depends what the mindset was of the team, because if their mindset was that they're not going to look to fight just farm, then the Ags is absolutely the better choice. It just looked like the moment they committed to Ags, they were actually looking to fight. It looked a little bit disconnected, but yeah. Either way, they bridged the gap. They're in the mid game now. They now have his Diffusal, and they immediately smoke up with this. Want to take advantage of that. They Magnus BKB. Tiny's Kanjin Yasha, or excuse me, BKB as well. So 2 BKBs arriving now.
And they're kind of connecting onto the Doom. Joe coming in the meantime, being gone on by Kiyotaka. That should be a freebie, but no, the Atos actually keeps him in place. Tricks of the trade does finish the job though, as WS super fast right now.
Super dead.
TP is canceled. They want to give this to Kiyotaka if they can. And he will take it. A much needed double kill for him.
And finally, a top tier 1 tower might be open now. 25 minutes into the tower you take first as Radiant, but it will be the last this time. Nightfall and Panto.
And now the Rick is basically saying, we're doing this. We're seeing the RP from carry already. Makoto, rolling thunder. By some pressure. Oh, he actually gets stuck in the corner despite having this fast. And meanwhile, the Silence are getting backstabbed by Kiyotaka. Finds another kill for him. Out of mana though. Smoke screen is off. Atos inside. Now the Wheel of Wonder. They have the damage to finish it. Absolutely. Aghanim Scepter Makoto really takes this hero to another level.
In the meantime, though, real estate being claimed. Gonna drop the Serpent Ward as well. This is full tier 2 tower for Aurora. Rotations that Talon made prevent them from being able to defend up here as well. Just pressure on all fronts.
Yeah, now network-wise, it is on
Starting on a Shadow Blade.
has his full S and Y being delivered. So ridiculous amount of status resist. Very good against Doom, very good against Global.
Power corrupts. How much damage specifically he's getting from No. Because he had, I checked, he had like 13.6% before he got Sanjin Yasha, but obviously the math gets complicated because of the way these stack right now. You can see his total status is 28. I was just curious how much is going to be accounted for. We'll get this levels up further, but for the time being, it's about 16%. I was meant to have solid. This. Putting him up to that grand total of almost 30 now. For this and Y. So if you think about, if you were around when Nightstalker had the level 15 talent with 35% status assist, and you were like, wow, nothing lasts for any time on this hero, that's roughly where Nightfall's at.
Rock and ruin.
Oh my god! Wow. That was kind of absurd.
1,000 damage combo from Makoto.
Okay, let's get that on camera again. Boom.
At least he didn't feel pain.
He felt it.
Found out.
Could be another support kill for Talon. Gotta be one of the more annoying innates to deal with.
Yeah.
Crushing skirmish.
Kiyotaka. WS looking for the Doom. He gets it. And 23 status here as well. That is a dead Ricky. Death number 8. Man, oh man. They have been on top of it all game.
Radiant structures
The
are
good news is that
fortified.
0 deaths on Magnus.
The thing is, though, like, the separation in farm for 8 deaths is not there at all.
It's rather minuscule, yeah.
That is kind of crazy.
It's 230 CS. That'll help him quite a bit. Makoto 10, 0, and 6, and also has 220 CS. Counts for 200 over the Ricky.
The enemy's middle tower has been denied.
I suppose a lot of Makoto's kills have been on support that aren't exactly worth a lot. Would indeed think there would be a bit more separation than this.
Also, Tokyo is finishing Aghanim Scepter, I believe. I see that wrong.
But right? Time for food. Time to go fishing.
Your middle tower is
Hiding
under
in the
attack.
tree line here. Does not want to let Aurora know.
Collapse.
It's just not fair.
Corn top.
That's the best job.
Perhaps, and we're going to see it. Corn top. The global silence follow, and even Wheel of Wonder used. A couple of BKBs as well as Kiyotaka jumping in on top of W. Wanted to fight, but gets sidestepped there as again the Rolling Thunder stuck here. Toronto, Tokyo already used RP there. 23 Savage focusing on the supports for now, but Nightfall and Kiyotaka teaming up against 23 Savage. He's all alone. His teammates are nowhere near him. It's a dead position one for Talon as Makoto gets to the high ground.
My heart.
But the shard, he's actually just going to TP out.
Prashant was trying his best to help Nightfall, throwing him in the right direction.
Yeah, but good effort. Now they can go for the old Roche. Almost certainly will go on to Nightfall. Just a weird fight where 23 Savage ended up getting isolated somehow.
Oh, he had to go in and use GA to try to save the Pango. I think that's what compromised his position, and he did get the photo out of there. I was gonna say, I would like to see the Aegis on the field. Tiny is very difficult of a kill to really be that big of an issue, but Kiyotaka has proven 8 times this game that he's not as tough of a kill.
Well, he's also proven it doesn't matter. If he dies 8 times, he's still going to be relatively high net worth. So
what you want to avoid now is that Kiyotaka gets caught off the wall and just dies twice for nothing.
Well, the
if he
other
dies
thing
in a
is,
fight, that's fine.
this means they're not going for buildings then. This hill is completely worthless for that. And Tiny's the one that's frontlining.
It either means that or that if they were to try to hit high ground, that they're confident they can play around Nightfall's 4,000 HP plus status resist, and that Ricky can just get in there immediately as a counterplay. But I don't think Aurora are just going to go straight high ground or anything with this. They're going to look to play the map and look for fight.
So Kiyotaka did buy his shards. That was contention there.
Your top tower is under attack.
Yeah. Swimmers, no
Your top tower is under
That's
attack.
a big one.
Oh, this was exactly what needed to not happen.
Yeah, he has BKB now. Will attempt to run away, but you see his teammates not super close, but at the same time, Talon won't do any further. Force out that fresh BKB.
And everybody, when you talk about Ricky's shard, people always focus on the inability to stay balanced. That's the biggest part of this, but it makes a decent difference to apply -5 armor. You know, both the Tiny as well as, in particular, the Tiny takes massive advantage of that. Damage reduction. But yourself too. It adds up.
Now he's just one-shotting me. Yep. Looks like Nullifier for the box. We had this conversation yesterday, right?
It says dispellable, yes.
Oh, right. Half.
But I'm not sure if the entirety of it is dispellable or just the strength and HP. Or if you can also dispel the debuff immunity. Haven't really seen much Omni-Knight in the last.
I feel like debuff immunity is definitely not dispelled. I mean, the very original repel was definitely dispelled, right?
My aggrandizement increases.
Along with Guardian. Like a 2-for-1 spell.
We'll defer to the panel for this.
He used the Diffusal Blade back in the day.
I 100% dispel GA. It's this repel that I'm in the current form. What's it called?
Regeneration.
Thing.
Cut and run.
The problem is they're going to answer our question, and we're not going to listen. So
Yeah.
we'll keep asking this question.
Well, it's good for the audience. They might listen.
No, I don't think so.
WS?
Yeah, Borntalk. Welcome to the party. Into the shack with the global silence. We get him out of dodge. It's a BKB as well. Continue to pursue. We'll blink strike.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Continuing to pursue. Wants to use his Aegis. A minute 40 seconds left on it, but Talon have, for the most part, exited. But Cuckoo might get spotted here in just a moment. He is untargetable now, but he does have the Ghost Scepter to get away. I say that, but now the Avalanche to cancel.
You can definitely tell that Kiyotaka has Aegis.
Your middle tower is under
I feel
attack.
like he plays normally anyway. Gonna jump on top of another Imperial target, forcing out the second Ghost Scepter in this fight. He's gonna caught the BKB. Mira missing the brambles though. And another, okay, Toronto Tokyo skewering the enemy away, but they'll have enough damage regardless as WS takes a tumble. I don't know how he got in this cliff here, but Panto will help set up potentially another kill. Nightfall with the toss. Goodbye, Ringmaster.
This is really good play from Kiyotaka. Super confident with this Aegis that he can do what he's doing. And we talked about this earlier on in the game, how So Ricky plays off of stuns very well, but also plays really well as a scout for heroes like that. I've seen it multiple times now that he's just running ahead of the pack as a mobile ward. Finds a good hero.
The enemy's bottom tower
Magnus
has
can just
fallen.
one toss. Yeah. And you get an easy pick. Take the secondary wisdom shrine. He's just keen behind.
I was meant to have this.
Tricks of the trade applies to basic dispel is
Yeah, that's great. Usually if they have, I mean, they do have Atos, but he has BKB already, so.
you can't cast it when you root it.
Is that what it says?
No, but it says it applies a basic dispel, but that's under the condition you can cast it, right?
It says can be casted.
Oh, does it say that? Okay. Oh, there you go. Nice. Yeah, okay. I mean, that's
Against specific matchup.
Your top
very,
tower
very
is
good.
under attack.
Hitting my stride.
I can't remember the last time I've seen a 25 Ricky. That's why this didn't even occur to me.
Horn toss, initiation on WS. Brambles
Your
gonna block
top
up a lot of the
tower is
other
under attack.
members of the team.
Big
Wheel of
damage.
Wonder, but the RP to follow. They take out another. Actually, the box saves the two. That last one looks like it connects to full 90. Now, Toronto Tokyo will be suffering the consequences. He's the first to fall. As Nightfall having a 1v1 battle with 23 Savage will, well, that's
Your
a baby
top
Nightfall
tower
away.
is under
Didn't have the
attack.
BKB up. As Mira
Don't be
will follow
mad.
suit to the grave. So double kill from Makoto. As Panto
It's
taken out. As
just not
Kiyotaka
fair.
still alive. No longer has Aegis. Wants to go for Jokem. Doesn't have the nullifier up quite yet. Tricks of the Trade's gonna miss. Now he's in a bit of trouble. Stuck inside. Shield crash is there. Another huge kill from Talon. They
Your
lose
top
one
tower
hero.
is under attack.
That was not doomed.
The number one difference between this fight and the previous one is that Ricky was not
Your
there
top
from the
tower
beginning.
is under
So
attack.
he is not the one giving information. They find his hero play, but the problem is while he is
Your top
connecting,
tower
the Doom
has
has
fallen.
already gone out on the Tiny and Nightfall has to fight back. I wonder if he could have just stood his ground. Like, he's such a difficult kill for them even when he's doomed that they should have just popped his BKB and smacked away at them and forced them out. But he ended up running down, running out while Ricky was connecting. And then as Ricky gets there, the fight, it just became fragmented and a little bit disorganized. But for Talon, they take advantage of the man advantage in that exchange to start.
Your top tower is
Throughout
under
all of this, by
attack.
the way, I just realized Makoto's 13-0.
Yeah, he's playing well. He's having a great tournament so far. Can't really put a
Your
finger
top
on his play.
tower is under attack.
Can't put a finger on it. Isn't that the same? Well, it is, but not in that context. You can't put a finger on it. That's kind of my mistake. Put a finger on what's happening.
Yeah, I'm saying I can't put a finger on his play means I can't find a mistake in his play.
It's a solemn undertaking.
Sorry.
Sorry, I believe I can.
If I can say Abaddon, then you can say anything you want. I
That's right.
So the lead down to 6 kills for Aurora. Talon showing some signs of life now.
Watch them flee.
Kiyotaka level 24.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Hitting my
Force
stride.
just purchased Gem.
Now Kiyotaka has it, so.
Oh, so they just put it on the Ricky.
Your top tower
They're
is
gonna
under
wheel
your
him
middle
hand.
tower
Do they have
has
the damage to
fallen.
get through? He actually does not look into the eyes of the clown, but Kiyotaka still falls. 23 Savage is ripping him a new one.
He's down for 90 and there's a Gem on the ground. Well, guess what?
Your top tower
they
is
picked
under
it up.
attack.
Nobody noticed for a while. Yeah, 80 seconds with no Ricky. That's now even.
Your top tower is under
If not
attack.
in favor of Talon, because if Roche spawns,
If they keep checking it, they'll get this. I don't think Aurora are at all interested in fighting without their Ricky. I think it's way too risky.
Aghanim, silence. Very cool. The global science applies arcane. I was usually you see refresher.
Yeah, I don't know if I like this. It's like they still gonna have the spells. It's really good when it's fixed because you slowly fire enemy team. But I personally would have liked the refresher better. I think their lineup benefits so much from having those stagger globals to prevent RPs, to prevent Willow from getting her combos off. They're just letting heroes down. That will be better than I expect. Alright, into Roche's pit we go. And yeah, 20 seconds before Ricky would be able to connect. Should be enough. They will smoke actually on Aurora, but gonna be too late to the party if they even start moving over there now. All the mummies. Guess what? Photo not taking the Aegis in spite of being 13-0. He'll get the cheese.
Well, why would he? He hasn't died. Oh, Horn toss onto 23 Savage into the smoke screen. There is a global.
Good thing he's the Aegis.
23 walks away anyway. That's a big ult down. And Toronto Tokyo, another 18 seconds till the Horn toss is back up and go fishing again. He has a refresher.
Yeah, he needs to be a little bit careful with his mana management. 2 RPs cost 950 against 1300.
Cancel has the 2 tosses down to level 25.
Big ward. Somebody's got to deal with that.
Yep, sure do. They're gonna pop a fortification. Savage will repel in order to take this out.
There it goes.
We'll get it successfully, but now another Horn toss onto 23 Savage. This is going to be life number 1 for sure. Down goes the Wheel of Wonder. No connections, though. Kiyotaka with the BKB. There's the RP onto the Rolling Thunder Makoto. Will he finally die in this game? Doesn't look like it. Pops a refresher. He's going to be back to me for the next year. Kiyotaka now on the run. Looks like they have a vision right here. Let's see. Attempted TP out from Magnus. Getting away.
He's dead.
Oh, he's doomed right now. And looks like Mira will also follow him to the fountain. So 2 kills in favor of Talon.
They could have actually killed the Tango there. He got the RP on him during the Rolling Thunder. And Tiny was able to attack him. Of course, Tiny's attack range is high enough that even as a melee hero, you can just keep hitting him. And then he refreshed, but never used the second RP. He refreshed, he ran out, and doomed. And then that was it. And I think he had enough mana for the entire thing again. Maybe he didn't want to commit it because he was worried that 23 Savage was going to be able to save the Pango, but I'm actually not sure that was the case. I think that would... If I'm Aurora, I would drop 2 RPs in a heartbeat to kill Pango. I think it's easily worth it. Yeah. He is such a big part of the team fight from the side of Talon, but do not seem to believe they could kill him in that situation. There it is. He does take right as well. So what can he break out of? He can break out of Aegis. And that's it.
Oh, there's a global. It's just for the roster. We've seen Aurora definitely try to take advantage of it.
Yeah. Oh, actually about global, one thing. I don't know when it deals damage the first time. If it's on cast, or if it's after a second. Because if it's on cast, this is actually really good. Right? Whenever you initiate on anybody, you just use global, and then Mag can't blink. Right? Because you get curse on him. It has initial damage, right? So if it follows the same rules for global, then it should instantly cancel every blink in the game. That makes me like it a lot more, specifically against Mag. I think that's kind of cool. They also have, I mean, they have 3 blinks, right? 4 blinks. Everybody in their team has blink except Ricky. So I'm a lot more on board with it with that angle. The refresher still definitely
Radiant
has its merit, but
structures are
you know, he might
fortified.
get there too. I just get both. Bouncer has active rest, the hero is not.
The enemy's middle tower has fallen.
Shiva's now out for W dash. Very tanky now.
Yeah. 50 armor.
asunder.
75% physical resist. Giving him the EHP of over 10,000.
It's not time yet.
Kiyotaka. Another dispel. Oh, he's spotted by the spotlight. Wheel of Wonder. Atos is there. He's gonna have to pop the BKB.
He doesn't.
How many times have we seen this? He's all alone. It's a matter of time. And he certainly does not have buyback.
Shriek when you see me.
Easy kill in the end for Talon.
Space for what?
Hitting my stride.
Question. That is death number 11.
My gaze is the mesh on the move.
I'll say a lot of his deaths have been good. To me, that one wasn't really no real benefit, except I guess giving some time. But
Not yet.
the death timer now is starting to be severe enough that you can push this Ricky. They will start going down mid, but looking to commit very much inside the town. All right, they will think twice. They were looking to go top a little bit, but they're back to business. Omni Knight.
Yeah, they have a full minute to work with here.
23 Savage is starting to hit pretty hard and fast too on this carry Omni Knight. He has the Bloodthorn now for attack speed, and of course his balance goes without saying, but mainly against buildings that help. Or excuse me, the Talon special. Place the banner. Just let it move.
They double toss to that front of the ground at this rate. Jokam somehow still alive.
Tank the clown. He had a gem though.
Oh yeah, you're right. Again for the roster. They know that they're mostly in the big.
Hitting my stride.
25 Talon. Insane amounts of damage. 75% hammer of purity bonus base damage. His base damage currently is 204. So this is 150 pure every hammer. He just gets extra. Stuff.
Big power spike for
Working on overwhelming blink next, and then into the refresher. Fishing.
Cuckoo.
For Cuckoo.
He gets tossed up.
Let me get him.
He's fine. He uses the Outworld staff, of course. Definitely good against the tricks of the trade as well, especially if you get nullified. That depends on. I assume that
This should not be breakable. Absolutely.
it does have an OG stamp on it. You would think.
It's a breakable, of course.
Bit of a stalemate as we wait for the next Roche to spawn. Forces out Outworld staff. He's going to use his BKB to
The
get away
enemy's
from
bottom
Makoto.
tower has fallen.
That rolling thunder, he's super fast. Mira not going to get hit by the swashbuckler. That might have been a kill actually if they hit that. Your toughest is built different. If he had it fear.
It's interesting to study.
A long game.
Inevitable. How are you gonna progress now? With 35k in.
Going up with blind here. Finally finds him. Box gets RP'd inside the box. Do they have the damage? Terrorize the follow. He's still alive. They finally get him. My goodness, it's taken all game. 22 status in the meantime will also follow him. So 2 dead for Talon and the big 2. In the meantime, though, Nightfall does lose his life, but Kiyotaka and company going to be going on top of WS, but looks like the Magnus is the one to fall instead. Jokam on the other side of the field will actually use Wheel of Wonder in retreat. They don't give a shit about him, though. They want this Doom instead. Buyback from the Omni Knight. This is where you have to question if Aurora will stay or not. With the Savage already here, we'll be able to take out the Rasta easily. WS, you know that Kiyotaka cannot go in any further, surely with this much HP. He has no fear, though. Double kill for 23 stamina after the buyback, and Kiyotaka... How did he die? To the knife?
Yeah.
Your
Okay.
top
I
tower.
think he died. I mean, there was nothing else that Ringmaster could have damaged him with, right?
Blood
Crazy
grenade.
fight, so probably doesn't have any moves.
Your top tower
That
is under
was an
attack.
insane fight, and they finally get the 2 RPs off on the Pango, but the blocks delayed the death by just
Your
enough
top
to
tower is under attack.
They need to get that nullifier pre-applied.
Yeah, I expected that. There's a lot of fight between that. Roll up, repel, BKBs.
How much
A
was
lot of
that?
garbage.
How much was that kill worth? Oh, good scroll up. The first kill, I think. Right?
Yeah, so Nightfall got 1,200 for the kill. He was worth about 2.2k. Not one hero.
My God.
End up paying a lot for it though. Now they might even pay some.
Yeah, how many buybacks is this going to require?
Probably 0. I think it's better to lose the lane if necessary. But you also got to be careful as 23 here.
Yeah, they're going to have 2 up, and that's including Magnus.
They'll only get the tower.
We'll back away. Now a refresher for 23 status. This is a backpack item.
Might as well buy it now. Buy it already. So the pit can go. Interesting repel cast. Now he won't have it if there's a fight. Use repel to hit Roche.
Dota waiting it out. Roche 3. That's been up to 10 seconds. He's pretty big in this fight. Is the Rolling Thunder? They're going to be able to take out Rasta right off the bat. Terrorize on the 22-7 is Doom, but not going to have too much of an impact. WS will continue the pressure. Willow will fight. The Shadow Shaman, though. Actually, Mira and Liv, they did not, the buyback scaring them a bit. 22 Savage getting in really deep. Nullifier finally, there's the RP, but the BKB was already cast. And that is 1 RP down as Mira, still super low, will finally drop instant buyback for him. Kiyotaka in a 1 versus 3. And they're going to lose their Magnus, who buys back now. Kiyotaka will follow him. Has to buy back as well. Everything onto Nightfall, though. Double kill for 23-7. This is 4 buybacks for Aurora. They have to get more here. They absolutely have to get more. The Silencer, the very least, will likely fall. Another Rolling Thunder from Makoto. They do get the Silencer. Rasta looks to be dead again. 23 Savage looks to finish the job. He'll get him. That's a dieback now for the Rasta. Nightfall with the toss-up on the 20 Savage. Nullifying their RP to follow. They have the damage. They killed both of them. Double kill for Nightfall. The 2 most important cores for Talon. And now the support will drop as well. So Aurora gonna have to force out more buybacks here. 23 Savage has no way back in the game. Remember, he used his buyback a little bit earlier.
Yeah, they know 23 doesn't have his, and they know they put super fast because in power Tiny. Hitting for 800 per swing. Roche first. This is a quick kill. This only takes like 20 seconds. They'll still have ample time to go for the objective.
So with the Aegis, Divine as well. Will backpack the S and Y.
Right now he hits for 1100.
Yeah, they will have to buy back here, and the question is, can they defend? Because they can just go straight thrown after this tower. Fortification is up. They will use it right away. Pretty sure you ignore the melee here and go straight thrown. We'll see if that's what they want to do. Yes, Nightfall going in very deep to the key, of course. Buyback on the Ringmaster. Okay, they will go for the barracks, but this is going to refresh the fortification. Nightfall safe. Shadowing him from below. Now 4 versus 4, not including the Aegis. 23 Savage still down. 45 seconds of no carry Omni. Second lane looks to be given up for free. Although they smoke. Rolling Thunder's coming. Fortification pops. Nightfall gonna ignore the Wheel of Wonder. Taking a decent amount of damage. He's at half HP, but Makoto not gonna be able to finish the job. Just trying to delay for this Omni Knight. But Toronto Tokyo, beautifully timed more time for the Global Silence to follow. Makoto very tanky, will get boxed. And now the kiting onto Tiny begins. Nightfall, life number 1 is gonna pop here. And now this is where he truly has to be careful. 12 seconds on the Omni. Nullifier applied to the Silencer. Uses his Global Silence. Able to get into the fountain, though. Even an E-Blade to keep him alive. Melee Rax is down. Second Global Silence is there. And Kiyotaka with the instant load is applied to him. Will likely cost Mira his life, but well worth it. So they retain their base in partial. They lose the melee bottom.
I think Kuga survived because of Outworld stuff.
There are no buybacks here.
I thought Ruby was going to get him there, but the Outworld stuff bought him enough time. And
what an item.
1 or 2 swings there. Mira frustrated with getting globaled on his way out. And a great hold. I thought that was going to backfire. They went for the Pango roll with 35 seconds respawn timer on Omni instead of waiting for Aurora to go for the tier 4s or top lane.
Look at these buybacks. Everyone but Silencer is on a timer.
Talon are going for the killing blow. They do have Refresher ready on Doom. However, there's 2 RPs, and Toronto Tokyo with the Lincolns will be a tough target to Doom. Doom cannot break this Lincolns. He doesn't have anything for it.
Daedalus picked up by Kiyotaka. He is going to be hitting super hard here to get the towers recast.
Such a hard push. They might have tried.
1 minute left on Dark Willow. 56-minute game, and it's anybody's game.
Yep. Gaben agrees.
Yeah, I would. This is as close to a 50-50 as you're going to get in 56 minutes. He even has a refresher shard, so double BKB, double nullifier.
Double giant small.
Radiant structures are fortified. Dire structures are fortified.
It's a pretty good 29 talent.
Thanks for trying.
I think there's a case where that's the better talent. But for the backstep multiplier, of course, the higher overall damage output for the burst, but in some games, getting those targets a lot more frequently.
The enemy's
is really
bottom
powerful.
tower
Doesn't
has
have to
fallen.
worry about it. He has both.
This is where he gets died. The 14th death. You get me 13 times, but the 14th, that's when the game ends.
Fool me once.
The last 0.8 seconds longer now.
Top tower is under attack.
Yeah, both teams would be happy just to wait for buybacks, but the thing is, you have
The enemy's middle tower has fallen.
Tear you asunder.
A really, really big talent that Jokum just picked up, though. One of the best in the game, in my opinion. Escape X Grant's strongest on flying. So if somebody gets RP'd now, he can immediately get them out of it, give them flying movement. And he can do it twice because he has the scepter. But, of course, comes with the asterisk of the nullifier. But even if the nullifier is pre-applied, he will still get the strong dispel. Because he will cast it and get insta-purge, but it will already have done its job of removing the stun.
Watch them
So
flee.
this actually makes his box extremely valuable in every situation now.
And how often do you play against the Warriors at 25?
This genuinely might catch Aurora completely off guard. And we know these late game chaotic team fights, something, you know, you have your frame of reference, you've been
The
here
enemy's
before,
top
you know,
tower has fallen.
there's always going to be something you didn't account for. Complexity just gets overwhelming. Everybody has 60 minutes to keep track of this, all the cooldowns, who used refresher, who has buyback.
With an Aghanim Scepter on the ring master, so
The enemy's middle barracks
Yeah.
has fallen.
I could have told you that.
pretty sick. Pretty sick.
Okay. I'm mainly talking to the audience.
Yeah,
Actually, when I'm making jokes to you, you laugh, but I'm not even talking to you.
yeah.
Give way.
It's like watching a comedian doing their life apart. 59 minutes. We are 1 minute away from seeing Helm of the Undying. And I believe teams have learned the Necronomicon, Book of the Dead,
Shall my
not as
enemies
powerful
know
as
death?
you might think.
Helm of the
anymore.
Undying must be very good against the Radiant
Watch
Fire.
them
Yes.
flee.
Think about how their teamfight functions. It's about bursting heroes during this RP, during the tiny BKB.
Touch and run.
They give them 5 seconds when they come out and they get to cast all their spells. I can't help but think it's a better item for Talon here. This Aurora.
Yeah, you could argue that.
Because Talon, it's about when you get into the fights and you get them going, you're playing the longer fights better. For Aurora, they need to find the big kills during big stuns. If fights just keep extending, Pango eventually will whittle people down. So will the Carry Omni. So will the Doom. Level 30 on him, by the way. Doom is insane. It applies every mechanic in the game.
Not slow.
Yeah.
So yeah, it breaks and mutes and stuff. Red healing.
Принта с 180 атак сприт не може да удар.
Да. Въпроса, ама.
This is all in. Gigantic thing.
Nightfall's attack speed is ridiculous.
Toronto Tokyo did take Book of the Dead. Hasn't gotten the memo yet. No.
So Nightfall, he has AC for attack speed. He has eaten a moon shard, and he has 100 attack speed neutral item.
Just needs to go axe now. Very important.
Yeah, that would be pointless, I think. Let's be fine. Hyper's going queued up. He's going link. Want to get to. Understandable.
There's the first Helm of the Undying. It's on a support though, so not as exciting.
It's good for Kugo to have it though. It's guarantees gold. It guarantees 2 golds. More or less. This gets Kane's done when he's a raid.
Or no. Yeah, I have to say I'm kind of favoring Talon right now. WS
like
with
that
the
better
Divine
as
as
well.
well though. The Divine Regalia, that is.
That's a big mistake, of course.
Yeah, huge mistake. Spider legs on Makoto. That is. So if you use it while rolling Thundering, how does it work? You don't hit the wall, right? I think I remember this.
Oh, that's a
old
good
days.
question.
So it actually could screw with you. Unless this was changed.
I have not seen this interaction with your spider legs.
But the fact that he can turn around so easily with the facet, maybe it's not as important as if he was Uh-oh.
The enemy's bottom
Spaghetti-O! He gets doomed. And he's dead. Does he have buyback? Yes. I guess he's certainly going to force it. That's 14. 14 deaths for Mr. Ricky. Oh, you're right. Oh, my goodness.
He has no tier 5 item now. For 7 minutes.
Oh.
I was, even before I looked at that, I was gonna make it point that is it even worth it at this point to farm this in general? Like as a concept, does it make sense to ever split?
Now, you have to do well already.
What item are you getting? You could have got this Octane perhaps, but
The enemy's top tower has fallen.
that was 60 minutes in, I just don't think it's worth it.
He's going to be feeling it. That neutral is useless. Top of the air.
Назад.
Fishing.
The enemy's top barracks.
Аха.
They were destroyed.
Брутален сплит пуш ще му правим.
Alright, so now they don't have a neutral in Disgrace Regalia, and they don't have a neutral in Book of the Dead. So the other 2 Books of the Dead actually cancel it out. Together versus 3. Yeah. Now, having said that, Book of the Dead against Ricky, you know, they're always in division. So that's something.
I mean, it's by all means definitely not a useless item. It's just not as dumb as the ball for push.
It's not for pushing. Toronto Tokyo, not able to find the connection again. Roshan, I mean, you kind of have to give this up unless you want to buy back on the Ricky.
Just over to 23.
Yeah, they get it. Oh, actually put down the Serpent Ward here, being chased by Makoto. And with that stun, should be enough. Global silence to follow just to make sure that nobody can save Dark Willow. Staying alive, though, for a little bit longer, and
The
even more
enemy's
so
bottom
with
barracks
his
has
neutral,
fallen.
the Helm of the Undying, but he will tick out eventually. So they do get Roche and all the
Bah.
goodies again. Ricky back intact, but now they don't have a Dark Willow. Buyback. So,
Why is this serpent ward this big? What happened? Why is it this big?
doesn't look that big on the.
Oh, it was just on my screen? It's like twice the size on my screen. Like, is there a talent that makes it? No.
The enemy's top barracks has fallen. We now have megaways.
Surely you try to take advantage of the fact that Kiyotaku's not.
I would think so.
I feel like that's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, 'cause you lose the enchantment too. That's what's so big here, is that you don't even have that.
Talon looking good. I have all the confidence.
Trying to get the E-ward. Dangerous. Front-line E-warding there. Again. Talon will ready to
Watch them
that E.
Then we got Ags on Doom. AoE.
carnage.
Alright. Start taking the global silence to try to save Jokan.
The enemy's middle tower has fallen.
Talking to BKB. Or knocking out, but they
The enemy's middle tower has fallen.
Down goes the Magnus and the wheel of This is gonna force 2 buybacks soon.
That's a great egg reveal for the Doom.
Absolutely.
Dire victory.
Really thought he could get an RP.
Split push wins.
Правильно мог сделать месседж.
He can do it again. He has refresher on the Doom.
Ако бяха забавили още малко, можеше да вземат, ама.
Не от 25-та и почнах.
Osaka one as well. That's the only buyback available now. What an insane game. But I do feel like next 3 minutes you can recraft neutrals, so maybe Kiyotaka is going to have time. They don't push here.
So just in the grand scheme of things, the neutral items in this particular game actually don't matter nearly as much as they would in others, because this is a game that's about do you get doomed or not. Like, WS just kills everyone.
Yeah.
Stupidly
Well, it
strong.
matters for Talon with the helm, specifically on Silencer, I would say.
Yeah, of course, it's not like they don't matter at all, but in some games, Ultra Late game is always about explosive damage and who gets the jump, but more so than in most games, this one is just... Fights can be decided within 1 second here, and then the neutral items don't even come into play. If you blink AoE Doom and you get on top of the right heroes,
The fact that Talon don't have barriers is hilarious. So strange. Alright, well, they maintain buyback on Kiyotaka, and the Aegis looks to be not being used in any effective manner, really. Question what they're waiting for then.
what's the most level 30 heroes you've seen in a pro game?
Maybe 9.
Really? Damn. All right.
That was actually the other day. Pretty sure.
There were 9 level 30s?
86? Oh, sorry. I thought you meant 25. 30. I'd have to look, yeah.
We have 10 level 25s now. 26s even.
Aegis will be going bye-bye. 30 seconds. So what's the play here? Does he just not want Aegis? Takes up a slot? Pressure's in the back.
Alright, Shannon, it's time to predict the game duration.
I think it's ending soon.
You think so?
Yeah.
Well, there's a while until the record.
I just don't know what Talon's waiting for.
I think of when the last time I cast a 3-digit minute game was. It must have been years ago.
3 digits.
So long.
We got close to it today. It was like 83, 84.
Still quite a bit to go. Yeah, the reason I start thinking about that is, well, if Talon didn't want to do anything there, what happens if Aurora just don't want to do anything either? What if both teams just... Okay.
They're gonna go in. They get the AoE Doom onto Kiyotaka. Actually going on top of Tiny instead.
He has the rapier.
More valuable kill, absolutely. And that is gonna be down on the ground. His neutral is useless, just like his mid laner. The neutral and the mid laner, not the mid laner himself. Throws to Tokyo. Gets the connection onto the silencer. Makoto coming in. He's actually gonna heal to full there. WS doing all he can. Buyback came out onto the Tiny, but he is not going to strength. Another global silence to come as Mira eventually takes out the helmet of the die, but 23 Savage taking a lot of damage. Gets off his GA at the last moment. There's a big RP from Toronto Tokyo, but there's no damage follow-up. And the boxes from afar, Jokan saving everyone, it seems. And Aurora on the back foot now. One buyback was expended from the side of Talon, but they can definitely reset a bit if they want.
It's so ironic, isn't it?
Сим
They have games for like 4 minutes,
Талон с
and
Аурора
then when it
играят.
expires, then they go.
I mean, I genuinely think it's because
Омни Кери Ню Мета. Вчера
Да,
Аурора.
оня ден това го играха.
Вчера Аурора биха
now they can
с
craft
Той Омни.
for Nightfall and Kiyotaka because their neutrals are dead.
He needs to get 20
And he already has another divine.
first on the Ricky.
Но то си би много човек с
And on the
този
Tiny. This is
Hammer
not
of
a neutral
Purity.
camp. They need to kill 20 each.
Kiyotaka has died how many times now? At a neutral camp. Out of his 15 deaths, maybe 10 of them.
Probably. Look at Talon, how their hero positions right now. They were all hiding deep within the base. Thought that Aurora
They're the
was
team
going
that's up 34k, by the way.
Yep.
Кому билдват?
They thought maybe
Радианс?
that Aurora are gonna go all in.
По принцип, той сега го е разгубил направо на Лифайер, ама Радианс с манта, БКБ примерно, сега има Overwhelming Blink се е направил, то си Ботторн. Разгубил е Радианса накрая за Налифайер, че да махат емпауъра. Че има тайни с емпауър.
They found multiple kills and got buybacks. Hey, that's
И Рики емпауър, ма.
now they're just waiting to get their spells back. They want to get 2 dooms. That's what's winning them the game. WS is ruining the enemy team. I think it's well worth it.
То си има Divine регалия, дума.
Both.
А Рикто вече има Disgrace регалия. То си има Хелма,
This is
Dark Widow.
classic kings of the late game.
Silencer
Грейс
има.
кой е?
Disgrace е вече като падне Дивайна. Все едно, нали, като мреш пада.
Пак е има някакъв ефект.
Не, нищо няма.
It's been a while since we've said that.
Yep.
Let the recrafting begin.
Е, пиши You have died and does get nothing.
Taka in the camp. Careful, buddy.
Дума има и той Divine регалия. То си има Book of the Dead,
With 350 damage.
Spider Legs, Omnito Book of the Dead, Spider Legs,
Swift blink. There it is.
Book of the Dead и тинито има Disgrace регалия. И сега се едно, зато е малко тъпо да го вземеш той Divine регалия, защото като ти падне, трябва да чакаш за следващия, до тогава може да свърши играта. Демек е high risk, high reward, ама по-скоро нещо по-сигурно бих играл аз.
The next game will be a total stomp based on that.
Защото late game всеки се случва човек, умираш и накрая shit.
Много ясно.
Roche is about to be alive in 2 minutes. It's actually almost max.
Прямо на, да я знам, на някакъв герой, дет знаеш, че няма умреш, тогава става.
Reborn again. Okay, another divine regalia crafted by QSE is
He got the evolved version. This is perfect for Ricky. He gets so much out of the agi.
Рикто сега пак се направи Divine регалия. Само че
with buybacks and whatnot.
с 40 primary agility май.
What if he keeps disgrace? How is that an option? That's awesome. All right, goes for the Stygian, so minus
Wait, you can
armor.
keep?
Yeah,
That was a
but
choice?
you can keep it with a new like an actual
Oh,
enchantment.
so it can't break again. Well, then just take another one.
Yeah.
What?
I know. I'm just saying it's fun.
It's funny. All right.
It's turned into a real juice. I mean, we knew this series was gonna be hype, so
I think 23 Savage is getting impatient. He's wanted to shower for about an hour now.
yeah.
And
Sweating up a storm.
yeah, still,
Seat is really damp. I've been there.
yeah. Depending on the season. Well, I guess they're not in Southeast Asia right now. I don't think they take.
Първи си, честито брат.
All right, smoke from
Мога да
town.
си играеш каквото искаш.
Buyback
СФ.
from Tony.
Gonna see Panto. He's dead.
Мога да играеш, човек.
Jumps right over him.
He's still gonna die. I think. Because of the spider
Local
legs.
silence to follow. And eventually...
Да, СФ.
Най-бруталният модел за Agility Braft.
Doom on top of Nightfall.
Agility Braft. Отново има лъкшот с нова и ще са про.
Fall has buyback here.
All in.
RP.
Пром са.
Makoto, he's in a lot of trouble. He's going to be abandoned by his team. He is dead.
Само са че ако взема лъкшота, дали ще ми вземат слънцето, ще ги еба в майката.
Illusions and more kills onto Jokam.
He just one-shot him. He has 3000 health on Ringmaster.
Не сякаш не бе, има много по-малко не бе.
Have buyback, of course.
А пък лъкшота мога ми го вземат, майма всичките им ще еба. Ми вземам лъкшота, ако стане.
They'll get Roche now.
Ще го про.
Boy,
It's
take it. So
Oh.
Divine.
They both made a slide. Time for some drama, Shannon. They both freed up
Всички
a slot
искат
for the
кери
Aegis.
тук.
Ran away. This is what
Не и аз.
thief.
Има един германец човек, дето ми влиза в стрима и вчера и аз с приятелихме се и той много пада. И му гледам, защото постоянно иска да играе кери човек, а и в повечето игри. И като гледам и ни билдва, но в смисъл билдва малко сухо такова. И постоянно пада човек. И вика да играем заедно. И му сприятелих се с него, вика му днеска се едно. Съм му обещал да изцъкаме една. Ще изцъкам, а ще му кажа само една да знаеш.
Okay, why did they get they have fucking tiny? What are they doing? Just give it to Tiny.
Той е слаб просто и иска той да играе винаги бияча си, но пак то не става те. Да не говорим, че и все другите са му виновни. Трещи им тилно.
See which version of the rapier he uses.
Yeah, he switched back to the damage.
Yeah, he has the magical one, right? No? He's using the physical one, huh? Does that make sense? He's probably not thinking about it.
Your turn to pick.
Аллилуйя!
And he's still playing that way. All right, we have a chance to regroup here. Another neutral recraft for Toronto, Tokyo.
I'm trying to wrap my head around why Ricky has the Aegis and is hitting the towers instead of Tiny. Like, if there's anything I'm missing here. But
It's
considering...
because he took it, that's why.
Right, but considering they both freed up a slot, I cannot help but this has to be miscommunication.
Because, yeah,
Not just like,
untouchable.
you have the Aegis, you better hit them. Oh, do
Bulwark.
Да, вземи си untouchable, човек. Вземи си untouchable.
I'm not gonna say
Да
this
си
is gonna
такъв
cost
дебел и после
really anything.
мисли за мид човек. Кое ще е най-добре? Булварк сигурно.
Which
Те ще го вземат, може би, ама.
That was the last lane of barracks for Aurora. In the time that Ricky almost took the melee, I think Tiny would have taken both.
Oh, 100%.
See, he's poking. I mean, this is good damage, but Tiny can, at this point, three-shot the range traps, and he hits really fast.
Your turn to pick.
Toronto, Tokyo's like, yeah, fuck this. I'm out of here.
Ricky even had a back-back
Dies again.
BKB. Well, that's not gonna do much. All right.
Wait, did he not get the melee in the end?
No.
Oh my god, it was on 1 HP.
Yeah, they didn't even get the racks.
Jesus, man.
For what it's worth, I don't really think the barracks matter beyond megas at this point. It's the only thing that really matters. Getting just the melee is genuinely no difference. Getting megas is big. That's why 23 Savage will start pushing it with his Manta. He's gonna get
All
through
right,
it
23 Savage, he's gonna get boxed right off the bat. Beautiful from Joe Cam. 23 Savage now with the repel to run away. That's one global down though, and you trade it for a horn toss effectively.
He used Refresher on Tiny. Excuse me, on Magnus. Okay. So he only has one RP now.
Какво ще вземаш?
Рокет Homing Missile.
Pressure on Cuckoo, so you just wait 80 seconds.
Баража вземе, не е ли това?
Да бе, Рокет, бараж, Homing Missile.
The double global again.
Вече торента няма торент Storm.
Maxing those trades.
Садге.
То може само така да ни пише.
This is the good part of Book of
Не бе,
map control.
няма и аганим, като цъкнеш контрола от
When I say
такова.
it's bad,
Нали
I'm
пише
just
кои имат аганим.
old one when it's
Аз
Аз-
забелязах, че на други неща ни пише, пък има гледам.
specific
Човек, аз влязах в кънката и няма такова нещо вече.
The thing that matters so much is the duration of it, that you can push essentially 4 waves with this book.
Ти като гледам си вземеш Аркейн Аура и Алакрити.
So
Check.
teams are doing it on the respective off lanes.
Не виждам по-добри опции.
Да.
Хубаво е. Аркейн Аура и...
Така.
He had one when he died.
Може да си вземеш Екс да си ходиш база, примерно нещо. Да. Защото нямаш много състейн на мид. Не, още early game може да си ходиш с Екс Марк с спот чек. Може и Nature за тенденс. За състейн. Пак става. Също е. Да, Nature за тенденс. Даже по-early game ти е. Състейн, ама...
He has a rapier.
Yeah, that's true.
Kiyotaka wants him
Kiyotaka,
back.
will he notice? He does.
Oh.
Buys back. I think the game's done. I don't know how you hold this.
No, this is borderline impossible. I'm not going to make statements
Your
like that.
turn to pick.
Nightfall leading the charge. What can Kiyotaka do to extend this game for Talon, Cinderin? As 23 Savage, early BKB. The buildings are going to melt to Nightfall. Just 3 shots them. All they have to do is kite these other heroes.
Те са обърнаха Аурората, шегева. Omnicarry са провали.
And this game will effectively end here as 23 Savage, the last remaining member, but not for long. GG's in this 80-minute barn burner. I feel like Kiyotaka didn't deserve to win this game, but he did. Holy shit.
And in classic fashion, Aurora win the game 39-55. It's not very common that we see a team win 16 kills down, but
GPK strikes again, huh?
I don't even know where to start with this. Like, what an absolutely crazy game, and it ultimately comes down to all of the late game Dota. Who makes the mistakes? Who hits the big ult? I think WS is probably in disbelief that he didn't win this game on Doom with how much work he did late, and Mikoto with all of the early mid-game impact they had. They did so many things right. They did have that Achilles heel we talked about very early in the game. They just can't take buildings. So every time they had an advantage, Aurora could just buy time in their base.
They were down 2 sets of racks, and I think you agree with me. I felt like they had the advantage in the game.
Yeah, they just couldn't win. So then it's all for naught. But yeah, what a ridiculous game that was.
So Kiyotaka, MVP, Sheever.
Well, I think opinions will be divided about that one. This was quite the game 1 between these two, though. A lot to break down. We did have
Prepare for
Kiyotaka
battle.
as our X Factor in this series, Jenkins.
Yeah,
he delivered that.
He definitely was the X Factor, sometimes for Talon. I mean, this was an amazing game. Like, there was a point of the game where Aurora had a 10k gold lead that was fairly early, and Mikoto was beyond godlike. Like, that's the sort of game that this was, and in my opinion, it all boiled down to just who was more comfortable in the late game. Like the casters were mentioning, WS played extremely well, but I also want to do a special shout out to Toronto Tokyo. We were questioning, like, how is his mental coming into today, and he looked very confident on Magnus. Like, there were fights where he would catch Mikoto literally the frame that his roll ended, like in the base, and skewer back. And in my opinion, like, look at all of these fights. Every single fight is started by some beautiful skewer back. So Toronto Tokyo, he is definitely feeling himself today.
Yeah, I think there's something special about this, both Toronto Tokyo and Kiyotaka. No matter how many mistakes and like random feats or whatever they make, they just continue to play the game in the same fashion, and they continue to believe in themselves.
The battle begins.
Be aggressive, and it doesn't falter them at all. They just keep going.
Yeah. You know,
Why can't I op? Принцип. Имат. Добре са. И Марса е стабиляга.
See Kiyotaka split pushing, but he's instead getting caught, like, Talon's chasing him to their own base. He's like chasing him into like obscure parts of the trees and like the jungle camps on the side of the map. And at one point, Kiyotaka was 3-8 K-to-D, and Mikoto was like 15-0, and Mikoto was level 24, Kiyotaka was level 25. So what I will say about Kiyotaka, because he also does the Boots of Travel Storm Spirit, he's like a really obnoxious player on the map, and I think it definitely has impact. It's definitely doing something in these games.
He's a tinker player through and through. Like,
yeah.
Even when he's not
whatever hero he's playing, he's going to make it work. He's going to be some invis guy that you either don't see because he's in the trees or because Ricky's literally invis on the creep wave killing it. But I'll just say, if he could turn that off at like 40 minutes, this guy would be a god. Like, if he just stops, because like those early deaths, it's not a huge deal as long as you're forcing everyone to go gank you. But it's like 50 minutes and shit. It's like losing map control. It's like making the game drag out so long.
Sometimes losing entire tournaments.
Losing entire games and tournaments. So definitely a funny team to watch on the side of Aurora. Flipster Talon, I think they were really gimped in the late game with their draft. Like, I think their draft was not meant to go that long, especially with a hero like Marriah666Carry.
But it's still interesting how the timing shifts so much in Dota nowadays when they extend to that 70 minutes. Like, Aurora has the lead, they have the double RP, but then the GA comes into play with the Aghanims, right, on Omni Knight. Then there's the Doom Aghanims that comes into play. Then there's 600 items. Then there's, you know, buybacks. Like, there's so many,
back and forth.
there's so many factors in Dota nowadays with Refresher Silencer that
With the spell rapier, remember?
Sure, with spell rapier, like there's, yeah, it just, it's happening all the time nowadays, like, after
Without the Kia Talk factor.
Thank you.
His BKB was on cooldown in his backpack, so it was cooling down slower.
His team was so close. He could have just waited, you know, that split second.
I remember in that fight, as Kyotok is going down, I saw Nightfall picking up bounty runes, and it's like, he's nowhere near. Like, it was in the enemy base, and I was like, is he picking up bounty runes because he knows somebody's gonna die, not have enough gold for buyback, and he needs to get the reliable gold from the bounty runes? That's like such a
I
weird
wouldn't
thing.
put it past him. He checks everyone's buyback cost and says we need 400 guys.
He's microing everything, 100%. You know.
A game like this, I mean, obviously Aurora won, you know, they take the throne at the end, but does any team after a game like this think, played out the way we expected it to, guys?
Jesus.
Because I feel like both teams will feel like this game probably was a loss. They'll have to treat it as such if they want to, you know, have a stronger showing in game 2.
To be honest, I don't know if it matters how the game goes for Aurora. I think
they treat any game as a loss.
Their post-game bombs will be the same no matter what. We saw in the ESL documentary as
that was from a stomp win.
They stomped one and they're still shouting at each other. So I don't think it matters to Aurora that they almost lost this game. That went to 80 minutes. It's the same thing regardless. Game 2 will see the same thing from them. Kiyotaka will die at 40 minutes randomly. You know, it doesn't matter for them. I think Talon is kind of happy with how that game turned out. Like, they lost, but they really made it difficult for Aurora. I think
they had momentum. I thought they would be kind of disappointed.
Yeah, but they lost game 1 yesterday to Nigma, and then they stomped the next 2 games.
Yeah, we're also delaying this and postponing game 2 so they can shower.
That's true. It's the morning game.
Maybe Trinity Barry is showering as we speak.
Right now.
I have no doubt.
Great mental image right now. The whole team Talon again. Great stuff from Misery.
No, I mean, this is a team, we criticized their draft a little bit, maybe more so than Aurora's draft going into this game, where we talked about their lack of initiation and their lack of catch, where they have to kind of always counter-initiate, and that means the Misery you were talking in the green room about, then they always have to play close to each other, and then have less map control overall.
Yeah.
Do you kind of feel like they overcame that a little bit with all the items that you mentioned?
Yeah, it's hard to remember exactly what happened throughout, but I would say that
mark she's talking about.
I would say that I think that what we were talking about in draft actually kind of came true.
Yeah.
Aurora was really strong the first 20 minutes. They had Talon was really strong for 20 minutes, had a good lead, but it was hard to play the map, right? They didn't really have any catch. On the other side, you have this Ricky running around, you have Tiny catch, you have Shaman catch. The supports of Aurora did a lot of movements around the map. They died a lot, but played a lot of space at the same time. So I think it was hard to play the map for Talon. Of course, when they play 40 minutes, people start going as 5 a lot, so that doesn't
Not
matter
Aurora,
as much
though.
anymore.
Kitagas.
They go as 4.
They go as 4.
The Talon runs around as a ball all the time, and then it becomes really difficult for Aurora to break the formation with Talon. Silencer. So, yeah, it just speaks to Dota how beautiful the game it is.
I thought you were going to go crazy, how crazy the game is, but this is
Crazy is beautiful.
Yeah.
Yuma's got to have quite a shit win rate after this game.
1-6.
That's rough. This hero, I think Misery, you're right that the hero's a bit overrated.
Yeah, I think this game it looked good though, but I think
This'll come in handy.
It always is weird to play people. There's something happening in these scrims that we're not seeing. Like, Dude must be winning all of the scrims, but then when we actually see it in competitive, it's just not. Under pressure, people reveal the counter.
This was also a little bit different than what we saw from, for example, Nigma. They just randomly pick Doom somewhere there, and then they give away the Medusa on 18, right?
Yeah,
These guys banned Medusa, picked the Doom. So
It was more calculated.
Yeah.
I also want to just close the book a little bit on Tiny. I mean, we saw him win. Brian had some great hits, did a lot of damage. I know you're very critical. Did this game kind of change your opinion a little?
Oh, I mean, absolutely. Like, you know, Tiny, he lost his 7% attack speed. All this, but he can still out-carry it on the end. So that's really good for Tiny.
He did have to buy Regalia Rapier, to be fair. That makes up for the nerfs.
That Desto too, actually, he literally one-shot a Ringmaster. At the end of the day, I think Tiny's still the same hero. It's just, I'm imagining in these late-game scenarios, maybe he's, right now the laning stage seems really difficult for a lot of carries. So a lot of people are just picking off-laners that build Radiance as carries, like the Omni Knight, like the Abaddon we were starting to see in the last patch. And so maybe Tiny's one of the only traditional carries right now that still has a decent lane. Same with Morphling, same with TB. Even if you nerf their numbers, it might be such a huge problem for all the other carries. So I can get behind that. And if he's picking it first every game and allowing his other cores to have more situations that they enjoy,
And also, we talked about potentially the otherwise, maybe we would have probably been talking about how Lina was a great impact on.
Ah!
Is game number 2. We're taking a quick break, but then we'll be back.
No jak Phoenix.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Missed.
Ty tukaj misot.
The enemy's middle tower has fallen.
Swiftly.
Dire's courier has been killed. Your middle tower is under attack. enemy's top tower has fallen.
Invisibility.
Nazdar.
Merci, merci.
Моля, моля. Какво правиш? А? Мириси ли казах? Мириси. Дормант Курио. Обскюрио. О, мъса ми трябва малко, ето 15 мъса. После ще взема Санджа Яша и Еу да съм бърз. След шивата, разбира се. То сма много неща да се измъкнат.
Your bottom tower is under attack.
Скачам, брат,
Your
имам
bottom
слънце.
tower is under attack.
And that's a cold, hard fact.
Dire's structures are fortified.
They have wards here.
The enemy's bottom tower has fallen.
It's for the other team. For the other team. So, what's his win rate? 23 and 33. Since the new patch, he's 4 and 6. I feel like before the patch, somehow he was being flexed more, and now he's like, maybe it's because it's mainly Aurora picking him, but majority of the tiny games I've been seeing on the new patch is carry, which is weird because that's the one that got the 17% attack. But the AA, how do we feel about that? It was banning him one.
I mean, feels good about it.
Yeah.
I think this
Yeah, it was bad.
Still as
pretty much the same as before, I would say. Slight nerf to Ice Vortex, but I don't think it matters that much.
I've not noticed the difference at all.
I've noticed it when I'm playing, but it's not something that
What do you notice about it? Like,
that the range totally you can still win with the range. Now you're gonna have to be close. I mentioned earlier in the ring with my struggles with positioning. This adds to it.
It still has such a low cooldown
Yeah,
that
it does.
you can just keep throwing them out, right? They're not active.
I can't remember.
Your middle tower is
I
under
think it's a
attack.
mid tiny or a carry tiny when it comes to talent. 23 tiny or mid cold.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Based on what they're picking so far, I'd rather it not be a carry. Another hero I'm actually shocked is still in the pool because that hero was tied with TA for the most ban in this tournament up until now, I guess. It has been contested after the draft.
Yeah, that. Okay.
There was the Bristleback wasn't there last round. That hero had a 100% contest rate in this patch up until then. It was 31 games out of 31, which is shocking. I think that might just be these two teams specifically.
It must be. It feels the same. The big thing is that they
good opportunity
reduced the minus armor on Goo in the early levels, and they reduced the slow in general. But the thing is, with the green facet, you would get so many Goo stacks anyway that people would be at the blue speed minimum threshold anyway. So it's when we have seen it, it looked like it had almost no effect.
I don't think it matters. I just think it is because teams look farther the same way like for gaming do, right? For Aurora Gaming having it here, this time they don't have this nice setup in the mag or the timing. So they have two backline support, but no real way of starting the fight right now. However, on flip side, so much the same right now. Kind of swapping the way.
Your bottom tower is under attack.
Ajde, sunce drugi. Tu napeče malko.
Your bottom tower has fallen.
Void in the mid lane. That's another option. But yeah, I think if they need to seal up this problem. They go Pango.
No, čekaj, je nosil.
In game 1 for Flipster Talon with that lack of
Sunce.
stun.
Даже нечестно, не силно.
The enemy's top tower has fallen.
Super reliable, especially as the game goes on and you miss like your start slightly, maybe they get Steve coming. So they're doing it again here. I feel like
Има кефче много често го дава. Но те да продължава.
So if he goes for Goo Facet, you have the armor combination with Pango doing whole physical damage. Like this is actually one of my favorite, maybe my favorite combo with Bristle. It's genuinely so much damage that you do not expect in fights. Pango rolls through and does like half your HP. You're like, what?
Because all of his spells are physical.
All of his spells are physical, and they're all AoE. So the fact that you're getting the AoE Goo, it's like you're not just focusing on the target physical damage, which is normally what you do because carries do physical damage. And Pango is actually using the fact that the Goo is AoE. It's one of the few heroes that does this. That's the first time he didn't stop. He always stops.
Well, it's also the first time he came on alone.
He was like running.
Should we be worried that Sunspan, did he eat something that he shouldn't have? Dairy, for example?
As for this particular game, it does seem like both teams have very brawly heroes. Like there's a lot of low cooldown spells. I don't think we're going to see a fast dash here. I think it's going to be pretty action-packed, I would say, unless something comes in at the last pick to kind of sway that away from it. I think a hero like Rikimaru, or if one team feels like they can't fight the other, they're going to be farming right with the mag and empower and just being confident to go late to take the fight later on. But here it feels like both teams are going to look to take the fight to each other here. That being said though, I think maybe Aurora Gaming have a slight edge early on with the Bristol Bag, as well as the Pangolin. Like these heroes are very annoying to fight with early on. So Aurora needs the hero for Nightfall, I would say, right? Unless, I don't think he's going to bring Bristol Bag, so up to that, for example, PA is still in the pool. I don't know if he would, it's a Nightfall classic.
There he is.
How unpickable that is on this patch.
They nerfed it a lot.
You good?
Oh yeah, that's completely different hero.
Yeah, what they removed for PA was they swapped her blur and her mischance or evasion to her innate and vice versa. So she no longer has evasion unless she levels her third spell. So in the laning stage, you used to just have like 15-20% evasion level 1 for free, and now you just don't have that. And a lot of PAs were just going 4-4-0. So unless you take that value point.
I don't think we're gonna see PA, right?
Yeah.
What hero is good against all this disable? Could we see maybe an Abaddon carry here? They have so much stuns on Talon, right?
It's terrible.
The problem with Abaddon is I think that's why Shaman's partially such a good pick later on in the draft is because of that level 15 Hex break talent that you alone silence him and break him with one ability. Yeah. Tiny, you have the burst to follow it up. It's still pickable.
Maybe it is just the Terrorblade, like you said.
That'd be super exciting.
I feel like it's just standard. Oh, they banned Terrorblade.
And then we got a ban.
Oh, okay. Well, you know, I was gonna say, like, I do agree with what you keep saying, Misery, that these one-to-one rounds don't always matter. Like, sometimes you pick a hero that just really fits the tempo of the game for you. You mentioned that they're gonna play skirmishy, they're gonna fight a lot, they're gonna play around the early game. Abaddon does that. Like, he gets a Radiance, and he just runs at you. And you can often get such a gold lead by the time Shaman is even close to level 15 that none of the break countering matters.
I think also just what I was mentioning, the fact that you're looking down at stun on Centaur, Hex, Jackal, stun Tiny, Ringmaster spells. It's hard to find a carry last pick that likes playing into this type of hero. It should be like Spectre or maybe Abaddon, right? That's my logic in thinking that Abaddon is good here. He doesn't mind getting hexed before level 15. He doesn't mind getting stunned up, right? He has his ultimate to save him out. He has the shields to take it off his allies, right? Same reason why they're banning out the Lightstealer and the Omni-Knight, right? It's the same idea that these heroes don't really care that much about the overwhelming disable. So what are we looking at?
I was gonna say Praise. Drow is an interesting one.
Second pick of the tournament.
Was it new patch or old patch?
It was old patch for V2. He played Drow Ranger.
Okay. But they won that game, it looks like.
Yeah, they did. I don't think... That was also a bit of a throw from the opponent. I believe their opponent was Nigma Galaxy, who was winning that entire game.
Oh, it was. I remember that.
I actually like this. I mean, I feel like I'm Brian, you're the carry player here. I feel like the heroes on Aurora are not that great at getting on a backline Drow.
It's true.
I don't know. Mira now, you know, on the Willow, would build a blink, no?
Yeah, but you have an AoE ground target.
The issue is yesterday we saw Nightfall play carry Omni-Knight, and
Jeśli mam
I
obecną.
don't remember what the enemy carry hero was.
A, za mało kur...
and just Omni-Knight was allowed to survive in the top lane while Lesser Aurora just ran
Hey,
at the enemy. So I'm thinking the fact that they might just have a situation where the Abaddon equivalent here is just ungankable, and the Drow, I think her biggest weakness is not the getting gap close late game. I think it's the early game timing because she needs these items to survive. So that's what I'm looking at.
What team has the 17-minute power spike?
That's definitely Aurora Gaming. Aurora Gaming.
I love that we actually have to talk about it. It's like,
oh, you said 70 or
70? Yeah,
70. I thought you said 17.
No, 70.
Well, okay, I think 70 goes to Flipster Talent, but I think this is reversed from last game. I think Aurora has the early game run at you. The map is going to collapse, and I'm a bit nervous on the side of Flipster because they don't have the Ricky evasive hero on the map that's going to be obnoxious, and their supports aren't as good at doing it what we saw the Willow do last game.
Any final words on the draft, Misery?
I think WS and Mikoto's gonna have to tank a lot of the spells of Aurora Gaming, right, for the Drow Ranger. I don't know. I'm not an expert on Drow.
Well,
wanna see how it goes.
None of us
we're gonna live and learn with this game number 2, Flipster Talent and Aurora via the PogChamp Pandas.
Regeneration.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to game number 2 between Talon and Aurora. That was a marathon game number 1. Yeah. I mean, coming into this, I was expecting at least one of those types of games. We got right after that, so I have to say I am not disappointed at all.
Mayhem. Já mano. No, bro.
Блин, мазаньоч.
Ай, не знаеш, останахме една прадня животите за 4 около нас. И те са 4 около нас, разбираш ли? И се едно, нали, ще умираме, ама героя ме е мега мазен и ги убихме.
Rage-inducing combo.
Strong enough yet, unfortunately. Yeah, Cuckoo. The question is who will get the first blood. It will be Toronto Toki on the off lane, Bristleback.
This is the kind of game that's going to be a really interesting test to see how Talon will deal with the mid game. Because I think if this game goes late enough, Drow is going to win this game. I seriously believe this could be a great last pick under the condition that we get to the stage that we did last time around. But it's entirely possible with a draft like this from Aurora that they run over the mid game with these two tanky frontline cores of Bristol and Abaddon and then extremely strong supporting cast plus Pango. Whereas on the other side, the playmaking potential is definitely there from the Radiant, but I do think damage is something they're a little bit more lacking in. He'll be okay with the aphotic shield.
Не бутнахме,
But Drow is just not a hero that contributes very much in general for the first 20 minutes of the game.
No, 23 Savage is going to be a big fan of that. He loves the farm. They get some huge power spikes in the late game. There's a late game.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, not much change in the last patch for Drow. Minor things. The Abaddon, of course, did get some changes. He is using the quickly battle. Not been wanting to see the Mist Coil build.
Yeah.
Wait for another day.
Nobody wins.
The quickening is just really good. It was also good when Mephitic Shroud was a thing. We saw players take over the Shroud. Yeah, I'm with you. I was kind of hoping the other one
Ама
would
ти
start
дед
getting
блъсках
a little
бутони?
bit of
Дед блъсках копчета ли?
the light of the day here, nightfall.
Да.
Continue to follow through on that shackle.
Gone on by Kyoto.
Тоест пак вика все едно, че е играл с тъп отбор. Yeah, Sunray Lucky Shot is next level, bro.
Да. Да еба.
How about this lane? Centaur against the old Abbey AA. They don't really have any setup for a cold feed type situation.
This feels like a lane that over a bit of time Aurora should pull ahead in. Just from consistent harassment between the AA and the Abaddon, just being able to trade into Centaur at little cost. It's very hard for Shaman to fight back. As long as either Cold Feet or Aphotic Shield is ready, I don't really see them likely getting kills. Oh, let's put it to the test, shall we?
Indeed. As Panta on the outside of this Lotus area. Looks like they'll be able to get the Lotus for the side of Talon as Nightfall will take heavy damage in retreat.
I don't think Aurora needed to yield there.
He actually does die to the Avalanche, so solo kill from Makoto is a huge...
Хорош. Ладно бе, хорош.
Panta would have gone into the ring. I think they could have won the fight. But now they're going to be fighting into the Shaman. They'll get that kill.
Oh, yeah.
But Lucky Shot Supernova is better, bro.
Shots as well. They'll be
It's the best.
okay. Nightfall
If you can get Sunray as well, but
2 points in curse for now.
удря на 20 секунди. Прошъл на човек. На 10 секунди един път. На 10 секунди един път, бе, брат. Yo, 20 attack speed, bro.
We saw him last. I'm going to make a prediction. He's not going to have 16 deaths on Pango this game.
Тоест такъв горкия се играе с все едно пак ние като играем се бим. Той си вика да еба. Искам да играя с тебе.
Double jump, which might have changed the lane, honestly. I think this is the lane where double jump can make a decently big difference.
He's going for the kill here. Makoto. Toss up. Swash does partially hit.
But that'll kill him,
Bramble,
maybe?
Makoto.
No.
Oh my god.
Walked into
the other
that
one.
one,
Yeah. Have to walk back to base. And he's going to lose a decent amount of XP as a result of this.
Full wave of tower. Yotaka will get water rune, so after that, mid lane is kind of back to even. Toronto, Tokyo though.
Last right click from Fuji.
Pięknie mu zagrał
This
kasę.
lane is dirty at 2v1. I can't
Dosyć.
think of an offlane that can stand against this at all when the support leaves. Drow and Ringmaster, just constant long range harass, strong slows. Have to be careful. Whenever Mira chooses to move. And in spite of them not getting the kill mid, I don't think it was an unsuccessful rotation. You just need to be a bit more careful in Bristol. Or maybe you have to take the death, because if the alternative is that you hide away in the jungle and get nothing, gotta at least force them to go on you. Makoto again.
Power and they're trying to fight over here relatively soon. That's why everybody has made their way over.
Your
Makoto
top tower is under
wants to
attack.
get to the north. Bramble's making it a bit difficult.
Your top
As
tower.
a result of the bottle filled for Kiyotaka. Invis rune for him. Shadow round. Should be fine, but Rolling Thunder now onto Makoto. He needs some backup for this extra damage. Perma-stunned perfectly right now from Kiyotaka. Do they have the damage to follow it up? Shield crash. It's not enough. Swashbuckle the fall. He actually jumps into the bramble.
No way he lives
Makoto
here. That's so
with
insane.
barely any health will actually live. Nice ether shot coming out from the Rasta, but Jokam will eventually be brought down. Mira ticks out to Jokam eventually as well. So 1 for 1 in the support battle. Oh, and the avalanche from below. Nice kill for Makoto, just sticking around for the straggler.
What an insane outcome that was for Talon. They keep Makoto alive and they trade 2 for 1 with that.
Your bottom
Time
tower
for
is under
Wisdom
attack.
Shrines. Jokum will take the Radiant one, and looks like Toronto Tokyo will be the lucky recipient of the Dire, which means
Your bottom
one of the
tower is
2 Dire supports will be lower level. No, never mind, he's leaving it for Panto. I think this is the right call. Some games it can be nice to give your offlaner that bit of a boost, but you really need both A and Willow to hit 6s. Toronto Tokyo with the Vanguard triple gauntlet. We'll be fine to get the lane and farm anyway. But 23 Savage has other plans. This level
Harassment continues. Multi-shot from 23 Savage. Not enough to
Marsa
kill
agora.
Toronto Tokyo outright, but puts the fear of Gaben in him for sure. He has the Vanguard right now on Toronto. WS. Exactly. Yotaka
No,
actually gets
Zach,
hexed on the
no,
other side of the trees. The rune is bottom. It's an illusion.
I don't think they can
Makoto,
kill him here.
I don't think so. As he gets tossed in the air, it's making it difficult for sure. And now with the help of Mira, with the Stampede to help out Makoto in turn, gets to the high ground, but the Rolling Thunders continue to come for him, and that is enough for a kill.
Oh, nice
Kiyotaka
avalanche.
dies shortly after, thanks to the Ava. So 1 for 1, the support or the mids kill each other effectively. Of course, Kiyotaka with the XP bonus there. Both carries farmed quite well.
Yeah. This is a game where I'm curious to see how Nightfall itemizes, because as the panel talked about, let's see if I don't think they can follow through on this. As a matter of fact, WS needs to be a little bit careful. And he is, but Jokum wasn't careful enough.
Yeah, he came back because he thought Centaur would be in trouble and was going to die for his efforts. Toronto Tokyo, in the meantime, left alone again. And will die this time from Makoto and company, who group up. So second death for Toronto Tokyo.
I don't think how you itemize a Baton in a game like this, because this was a pretty late pick from Aurora, but they picked it into Shadow Shaman, so there's going to be that 15 hex problem. And then the last pick, Drow. Guess you go Radiance, and then maybe you still just do the standard Radiance Manta Blink.
What do you think about...
You need to get on top of Drow.
Yeah, I was going to say, what do you think about Harpoon?
Yeah,
with
Harpoon
this?
as well. I think you need both.
You're going to have Drow on the cliff with the shard eventually. He's going to have Hurricane Pike. You need a lot of gap closing.
Blink Manta Harpoon, I think is where it's at.
Blink first.
Oh, no, I don't. We need Radiance first. Radiance,
you want Radiance on top of that.
Radiance, Manta, Harpoon.
TP canceled, Rolling Thunder.
This is a big
Onto
kill.
23 Savage. Kiyotaka has been very active with this ult of his. Swashbuckle finishes the job. Big kill for Aurora.
Great find, especially because he TP'd, so it's a bigger loss.
True.
Respawning, he'll have to walk. The walk of shame. Odd tower will be claimed. First one of the game for the side of Aurora. And obviously a big part of why certain heroes that were rated very highly last patch made them even better was their ability to take the Tormentor at level 15 or minute 15. Bristleback, one of those heroes. TA, another great example. Those two heroes will now have to wait till minute 20, but of course they'll still be equally good at it. So the thing that comes to mind is this is a very standard way of playing previous patch, where you take this bot tower for your Bristol, in turn you take the Tormentor and you kind of accelerate your lineup. That Spike will have to wait.
Away from Sacred Relic and change 23 Savage. Is not going to do a damn thing.
Did not connect everything there. But it's interesting that this support duo has a ton of kill power. Can kill almost every hero in this game between the two of them.
Run right into the Dark Willow. The whip, but the Shadow Realm first. This should still be a kill, surely. He's going to attempt to TP out. He's fine.
I had the option to cast Terrorize, but they didn't really feel like fighting, so we'll just leave.
12-minute rune. Another battle, potentially. It'll be bottom again. Lucky on that one. So Diffuser online for Kiyotaka. Does not go through Agony first on the Ricky.
Wise choice.
But we'll probably go X next. What do you think the conversation after you win, but my god, it was not pretty.
That's a good question. There's like different things you can focus on, right? I would say the most important thing to focus on is mentally resetting, win or lose. Like actually, if you can make like one or two key conclusions in the game where we need to focus more on this, where this was something that we did incorrectly, that we were rectifying the second game, that's it. Don't make it complicated. It was an 80%. A lot of stuff happened for both teams that was both right and wrong. Yeah. But if there's something very clear that you can immediately solve, then that's it, and then you just go for the next one.
WS under his tier 1 tower, terrorized. Bramble's gonna hit along with the Ice Blast. Should be an easy one. Gets off the hook stomp, but actually uses the Stampede as Kiyotaka. Rolling Thunder of his own. Drow gets tossed to the south, and I think Kiyotaka. Oh my god, the damage. Pretty absurd, even at this early stage. Mira on the run. Won't outrun the Avalanche, but does get the Shadow Realm off. See you later. So after game 1, you don't think anybody, like Nightfall, went to Kiyotaka and said, I think he died too many times.
I mean, is that constructive?
No, of course not.
I mean, he obviously knows, but you're asking if I think he did that.
Yes.
Your middle tower has fallen.
Is it constructive if he doesn't think he died too much?
Yes.
Okay.
But then...
Immortality.
do have Aegis.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Oscuro. Angut kafan.
Tako samo tako. Така и то са нанизана ракетата. Тиши им бъде.
Your bottom tower is under attack. Your bottom tower has fallen.
С техните 4 керита лейт гейм може и да се надяват.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Нямам баци.
Your bottom tower is under attack. Your bottom tower has fallen. Your bottom barracks are under attack. Your bottom barracks has fallen.
Байбаца къртят.
from my chest.
Your middle tower is under attack. Your top tower has fallen. Your top tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified. Your top tower has fallen. Your top barracks has fallen. Your top barracks are under attack. Your top barracks has fallen.
You remind me of my old boss! Run in hell!
Your middle tower has fallen. Your middle tower is under attack. Your middle tower has fallen. Dire victory.
Им дефнаха се, нямаше как да ги бутна, какво направи.
Да.
Играха.
Искаш ли бобчи?
Не.
Ще хапна едно бобче. Искам да стъпя. Ливел.
принцип можеше да ги бутнем тогава, ама кънката обикаляше сам човек. В уния 5 минути.
Кънката заспа по едно време.
Да, и тогава паднахме. Дето тогава трябваше да ги приключим, те нямаха още всички БКБ. Принцип items. То сме на 33-та минута БКБ, другия 36-та. Ние преди това имахме шанс да ги приключим. Само лайкана имаше БКБ. А другия се направи чак на 46-та. Тоест тук тъпя дет ми пише на стрима. Спомням си, като сме цъкали човек и е много слаб. Мога го инвайтнем, в принцип. Той... Yo bro, are you playing now? Точно сега човек. Yo Papakung, you playing now?
Ако се портва.
Ще се портва. Той иска Кери да играе човек.
Те го условието и да... Го се порта по нещо.
Да играе коцка, да се проваля и повече не играе с него човек. То е ясно. И много ясно е човек. Аз 10 пъти му обясних, че само като иска да играе Кери не става. Виж, че... Той като иска да си цъка Кери, нека си цъка. Аз по принцип не ми се цъка, ама защото нали ма гледат и не.
Да ми ряса.
Да. И аз тук натрупах доста победи и сега не знам. 10 игри, една загуба, стават 11 игри, 2 загуби. Сега. Следва баланс. Та шак си правят тия човек.
turn to pick.
Муха в супата.
Your turn to pick. Your turn to pick. Your turn to pick. Your
O kurczę.
Nie wiem, GG brat. Taka nie zapalałem się. Po prostu...
My iron will shall break them. Look there.
Prepare for battle.
Upon this plain. Indeed. Yes. Between the plains.
Thirty seconds to battle.
Yes. The way is clear. I charge ahead. The peace is broken. One world is much like another. First blood.
That was the first taste of revenge.
Ničera se ujede.
Да.
Beast of all worlds.
Гагаяшка от псве играта, брат. Просто я от псве.
I'm under attack. I have their scent. I run rampant. Of course. I charge ahead. One world is much like another. Yes. Onward. I run rampant. As suggested. On I will. The way is clear. The beast of all worlds. Between the planes.
Dire's courier has been killed.
I have their scent. Look there. Indeed. Certainly. Of course. Yes. Correct. Upon this plane, all paths lead to conflict. Indeed. I run rapid. I'll settle this. Look there.
Да, chyba Carry'e warda. Check.
Correct. As suggested.
Не можем намера warda, брат, не знам къде е. Варно.
One world is much like another. Onward. Gold. I have their scent.
Middler's mission.
I'm under attack.
Your top tower is under attack.
А, Крипма на кулата е Wood.
My part to play. Free. The way is clear. I charge ahead. Yes. All paths lead to conflict. The beast of all worlds.
Баф майката.
Upon this plane. Onward. Certainly. Indeed.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
Between the planes. The beast of all worlds.
Бачимо сцена.
Look there. All paths. As suggested.
XP.
Сега good luck да открие моя лард. Ще го е в майката. Той е че късно, да?
Upon this blade.
Middle is mission.
Correct. I charge ahead. I run rampant.
Бягам някой из въгора.
То си има много нюкче.
Почвай го е, нуб.
Той не го учи.
I charge ahead.
Bounty!
Upon this plane. Between the planes.
Regeneration! Some treachery wrong-footed me.
Да, еба. Браво, кунката.
Dire's structures are fortified.
All is grist for the mill.
То се е много прост, брат, много прост.
Your top tower is under attack.
I run rampant. Of course. There's no escaping me. The way is clear. Look there. Yes.
XP.
All paths.
Always be my charm.
I have their scent.
You're the girl that idiot was going on about?
Straight to the bottom with you.
The beast of all worlds. Yes.
You punched out all of my blood.
I have their scent. Of course. I will.
It's on board.
Your bottom tower is under attack.
I'm under attack. Between the plains.
The enemy's top tower has fallen.
Look there.
Your bottom tower is under attack. Your bottom tower has fallen.
All paths to conflict. You've gone green.
Your bottom tower is under attack. Your bottom tower is under attack.
beast of all worlds. I charge ahead. Upon this plane, I run rampant. Yes. The way is clear. Break you down. You got my dander up. One world is much like another.
You set sail or fail.
Certainly. One world is much like another. Rampage! I run rampant. Correct.
Your top tower is under attack.
Attack is the best defense.
Fasten the fire.
Clean water.
The enemy's middle tower has fallen.
Чай съм във войната си. Така.
The beast of all worlds. I'm under attack.
Мога да прибера с хикса, ако искаш да напомниш.
Имам чарч, няма. Айде да.
The way is clear.
Айде. Давай да.
Between the plains.
Махни си хел под този човек. Ще фърля.
Look there.
Не знам дали спира изобщо хелпа.
I have their scent.
Step lively.
I charge ahead. Of course. As suggested. Yes. Monster kill.
Your top tower is under attack.
Much like certainly.
Let's get a move on.
Барата, брутален герой.
Съм на 200 HP, снайпер иска да ме снапвара, иска да ме яде. Много бъм мръсен.
Да бе, тъп като кучиш, брат. Виж? Бум! Кораб на главата. Пълен нещастник, само гледа да прави тъпци. Сега е ядосан, че ти си 10-0, той е 7-6. Треш. Дай моя Войт, ще цъкаме срещу него следващия път. О, ще направя кандас за... В принцип, Октарин искам, ама канда за брейк. Там няма кога ходим, много са.
Upon this plane, I run rampant.
Ще му пусна кораб.
На слабка,
Feast of all worlds. Between the plains.
И кон хилвара?
Да, много яко. Вече поне ако татрова някой такива поне.
I charge ahead.
Дарам.
Much like another.
The enemy's bottom tower has fallen.
Onward.
Сега мрем нам сега.
Ще е да умреш ти един път. То срамота пак да не умреш. Ох ти, Венчи.
Look there.
Аз бяга. Не се усети обаче, бе.
Augmentation. I run rampant.
Шарп може да си вземеш.
Да. Ще завърша кандата. Брейк.
bottom tower is under attack. The enemy's top tower has fallen.
Франциска ли е това?
Between the plains.
Не разбрали, че не те обичат.
Beast of all worlds.
Now this is a feat.
Направо. Никакъв шанс.
Upon this plain. Indeed. I will.
The enemy's middle tower has fallen. The enemy's bottom tower has fallen.
Attack. Defense. Brouhaha. The way is clear. All paths lead to conflict.
Bounty!
Found you.
Горе са, пази са.
Cool. Kanda.
The beast of all worlds. Certainly. Between the plains. One world is much like another.
Аз само всяко случай. Исках да фърля един тайдъл вейв. Този вече има silence me. No.
Dire structures are fortified.
Jo, bърз.
From Talon, the Lina on 18, and then some kind of melee 5, like Gaming Gladius has been running. They've tried out, what did they try? Like Spear Protector, Undying,
Naga.
I think, yeah, Naga. I think you can play a bunch of different things with this Lina in the safe lane. That's definitely an option.
What do we feel about this Chen? Because we've seen it once before, it didn't really work out.
Yeah.
Going for that push strat I said, Shiver.
Yeah.
20-minute timing.
It hasn't really worked out for anybody either, I think.
Nothing will
I
stand
mean,
in
with the
my
Morphling,
way.
you also have the late game security, unless they... I think Drow is honestly the only hero that makes Morphling carry matchup be pretty unplayable. Against the Pango, I think that makes you even more so need a ranged turret hero. It is potentially invadable because you have like the Pango rotating from mid lane, Chen going through the twin gate with all of his creeps. There is going to be ample amount of pressure on that top lane if Talons do go that route. I still want them to go that route. It worked last game, they weathered the storm. I wouldn't put it past Aurora to overextend one time, minimum, from what we saw last game. Kiyotaka getting a chance to run it back. How do we feel about that?
Yeah. I'm looking at this Chen, and I'm thinking from Centaur, I'm very happy. Care about Chen, I think, at all.
Creeps running at you.
Yeah, I mean, in the early game, I feel like I have a free lane against Chen, and that's just good. Raise around really early, also, I don't know, it's not that scary right now. Maybe it's because we haven't seen it be that powerful.
Definitely good against Ring, I would say.
That's also a 23 Savage.
That is absolutely a classic. Maybe we'll see the Tiny Axe this game. That's a classic as well.
Well, would you really save your support for last, or do you think
Yeah, with
Tiny can
overall,
make
when you have this pick, yeah.
Yeah, you can't
Okay.
pick.
So now when you pick the void, it's nice to have some ranged scary, ranged fire, right? That deals
enemy's middle
damage
tower
in the
has
tunnel
fallen.
and then just plays with you. Yeah, something like that.
The
Definitely.
enemy's middle barracks
Maybe not
has fallen.
Jakiro. What else is there? Five damage.
Witch Doctor.
Mirana. Witch Doctor.
I wouldn't love Marana.
Radiant
Mirana's not
structures
real
are
bad here.
fortified.
Control the stun setup we have.
I'm calling Phoenix.
I'm calling Mirana. Okay. There's a Chen, right?
Oh,
The enemy's top
that's
tower
always a good
has
Or you
fallen.
could try something like Crystal Maiden. Pretty good against Chen, pretty good against Angular early on. Lightning can't do too much.
The enemy's top barracks is
Yes, it does. That is
enemy's top barracks.
I don't feel like Jakiro got hurt that hard either.
Hey, you just want to enable this chrono in the mid game, I think. That's like one thing I hate about participating in fights as Faces Void is if I feel like I have to be the one that kills the people I chrono in the mid game. Later on, obviously, especially the level 20 talent, obviously buff, 100 attack speed, still doing damage. But really,
I'll throw one more hero into
enemy's
the
middle tower
ideas here.
has fallen.
Skywrath Mage, good against Morphling, good against Violence. You can run Ring as a 5. And then you have a Sky Centaur lane, really strong. Sky plus Tiny is a strong combo as well.
Actually, they're banning
Your
out
bottom
the
tower is under radiant
Yeah, but we've seen in these two games.
Good.
Played by both.
Тя назад.
Cam has
Назад.
most of the hero of the tournament. It's
Ah.
kind of random that they're doing that. He has not played Ringmaster yet on Cuckoo.
Previous game, he wasn't.
Ти ме
Okay, sorry, I
успокои,
guess my page is
Ти,
not as old as last game.
дори като кажа много боли.
Yeah.
Видя ли?
Whatever it
Видя ли?
is, they're laughing about it.
Видя ли?
They're cooking something up right
Аз
now.
ти казах
This feels
видя ли?
like
Ти
they're
какво ми кажеш видя ли?
Wow, okay.
Кое нали?
They...
Well, it has the 8
Да,
second
да.
silence.
Какво
Yeah,
да
we
видя?
just-
Не съм видял.
Against Pango.
Is this mid Bloodseeker?
I think it's support Bloodseeker.
It could be support.
Я го махни да
too.
си.
I think it's support tiny. I think it's support tiny.
Mid Bloodseeker.
I think so.
Why are the supports laughing? I think it's Yoka and Bloodseeker. He's gonna go and silence the Morphling for 8 seconds.
Why not?
and he's gonna hit for in the late game. He'll hit for like 1,000.
Wait, if you hit like how long does it take to if you're agi shifting, you get silenced, you can't shift out of it, right? 8 seconds is enough to get you to 1 HP.
Yeah, for sure.
That might actually wait. It's percentage damage though, but if you can get any disable,
I think it's of your max health.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. I'm just saying it's not like it's percentage of your current, so it would never kill you.
I am very curious
On the low
where they put this Bloodseeker.
OD, okay. So it's an offlane Pangolier.
Offlane Pango?
Yeah.
Love these teams.
I just want to see where this. I think that's now a 4-position Bloodseeker with that OD pick. Yeah, it is going to be 4 Bloodseeker. Lol is my response to this. What do you guys think?
I'm not saying it's bad, lol. I just like what a funny pick.
This was not on my bingo card.
No. I mean, if you think about this game, right? He has the potential to silence Morphling and OD. Very good.
Yeah.
He can stop the Pangolier from rolling. Very good. Question is now, does he do enough in lane? My answer would be, he doesn't need to do that much because he has Centaur in his lane against Chen Morphling, like we talked about earlier. So he can just run around, pull some waves, run mid, kill a rune, or whatever he wants to do, I think. So I kind of like it. I kind of like the creativity here from Talon.
I think it's cool as well. I thought when this silence came out from
Bloodseeker
on the facet that it was going to be a support. And then it turned out to be a dog shit opinion. And then a few days later, like a team
they watched the video.
Yeah, of course they watched the BSJ video. So I'm excited to see if he can get it before the morph. It is a very short range silence.
Yes. Gotta get, I don't know, lucky with your new tribes maybe, get a Tumblr's toy, or go Invis.
You get the one that upgrades, and then you get an eventual cast range item that's even bigger.
Oh yeah, the Dormant Curio.
The Dormant Curio into the, not the telescope, but there's
oh, the monocle.
The monocle.
4, yeah.
Yeah, and then you can also get a cast range enchantment on it.
You're selling me on it. Save it up.
Yeah.
Are we sold?
I mean, I'm interested. These two teams are delivering. I'm sure they'll deliver in game 3.
I think from what we've seen so far, it could go either way. I do know that we're in for an entertaining one, made extra entertaining by Sunsfan and Sinrid.